Wakanda forever! Hey! Yo! Welcome back to another episode of Intelligent Idea Talkers Podcast for the week of Sunday, February 25th, 2018.
Wakanda to you.
Episode
Wakanda
33.
to you.
Like I said, I'm your host D.
Wakanda to you. This is Juice.
Boy Jay.
And we got a couple guests in the building.
Returning once again. My name is Frank, and I was the host of the Good Games Podcast. I still am, but of course, I was here on one episode.
Wakanda to the Good
Welcome
Games
back.
Podcast.
Wakanda forever, my brother.
Wakanda. Wakanda to you, my brother.
Thank you, my brother.
We also got another guest.
This is Big C in the house representing Wakanda.
Wakanda. Straight from Wakanda Bridge.
Also known as Mumblaze.
Wakanda, my brothers.
That's Mumblaze. And as y'all guessed, this is our special Wakanda episode. We've already seen Black Panther. Everybody here has seen it. Some of us have seen it twice.
Yep.
Big Frank.
Yep.
And, I guess we're going to start with some general thoughts about the movie. So, I guess for the person who's seen it fresh off the presses, I saw it yesterday morning. What'd you think, Frank?
Oh, man.
Second time through.
Second time through, to me, it was better the second time through because the experience was better the first time for sure, but the second time I was so like blown away still because there were so many things that I didn't notice, and the movie was just crafted so beautifully, and there were just everything about it. Like I was swelling up with pride, and I just could not like get enough of this movie. Like I loved every second of it.
Coogler, the director, just reached into the heart of blackness and just put it on screen.
Yeah, that entire cast, man. 98% of the cast is black.
I was proud as well, man. Just seeing everything up there.
Yeah, man.
You want to go next, man? With your general thoughts on the movie, man?
So definitely, I have a crush on Okoye now.
Oh my God!
I'm sorry,
dude. The princess or
the general, the leader of the Dora Milaje.
Yeah. Oh my God!
I can't get over the baldness, but okay.
I'm okay with that.
I'm okay
I'll
with
rub that bald head.
All right, let me headbutt the shit out of you.
I do it for Wakanda.
Hey, hold on, real quick. I'm sorry, guys.
All right, just toast.
All right, toast it up, guys. I know
so
you ain't
Wakanda.
no drink. Episode 33, Wakanda cast.
Yeah.
All right. Yep. So
we're sipping on this fresh vibranium wine
infused wine.
Vibranium infused wine from Wakanda.
Yeah, probably have to send some people to the hospital pretty soon because I don't think we're supposed to be drinking metal.
Yeah, man. So like, I still want to know more about vibranium. But Jay, you want to go next on the general thoughts?
I thought it was awesome. I actually wanted to see it twice. I couldn't get the second time around though, but hopefully next weekend.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I'm trying to.
Let's go and support.
It looks good.
Let's go and support for real.
What about you, C?
Man, I love Wakanda.
Wakanda forever.
I think to me, the movie spoke loud to everybody, not just black folk. It really opened up people's minds. Yeah. And they opened up folks' hearts as well for folks to really understand our culture. It's not just about, us being portrayed as they always portray us. As troublemakers, drug dealers,
slaves, drug dealers, gang
members, trope of the
the
sidekick
people.
Yeah, they sucked me in at the very beginning. Pause. But they sucked me in at the very beginning only because like they had that scene where they were like setting up the heist or whatever it was, and there was the two black guys. He was like, "Well, I'm gonna go around the corner and you come here." And I was like, "Come on, man, we've already seen this. I don't want to see no gangster shit in the movie." Yeah. Like I was like, "We've already been here." But then they immediately took it away because the king came in and was like, "Oh, that's his brother." You know what I mean?
Like the lights went out. The lights went out. Yeah. And then T'Chaka disappeared.
He's been planted as a spy, so it's like it gave credence to like their whole network of what they have going on. They had a spy in California. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
in Oakland. So
I mean, in the movie they mentioned they had spies everywhere,
and he's a prince. He was a prince, right? He was a king's brother. So I was like, "Oh, that's cool."
I like how that came out though. I like how that.
I didn't want to see another gangster playing a heist shit. I was like, "What is this?"
Yeah, I like that idea that we came out to being of some kind of royalty. Instead of just being, like I said, the slave or
the descendants of
the gangster or the drug dealer. Yeah.
And what's interesting was that like the brother of the king, I don't remember his name, but the reason he wanted, like the reason he kind of started this whole kind of plot to get vibranium to America was because he wanted.
Are we spoiling?
Spoilers!
Spoilers, guys. Spoilers, guys. Look, if you don't know by now,
I just wanted to make sure.
Okay, I'll put it in the titles.
Yeah,
but it was like because he had a desire to help the people in America. Because he's seen like he saw firsthand what the black people in the States were going through, and he wanted to reach out with his influence and ability and tried to help the people who looked like him. And it was crazy because that's honestly what Killmonger was trying to do technically,
which
in
I
a more
that.
violent, corrupt way.
Yeah.
But
I love that, Drake.
But I mean,
But it goes.
I love his motivations
That's
for
the
wanting
whole-
it because he was like, all these people, black people around the world are going through these things. Where's Wakanda? I'm like, yeah, y'all are one of the most technologically advanced civilizations on Earth. You know, you can do something to help, even if it's not providing weapons, like in the medical field, maybe in education, you know, around the world.
Yeah.
Man, you're one of the richest countries. So I like Killmonger's
But
motivations.
I think Killmonger. I respect his motivation too as well, trying to give out arms to all of us who've been going through an oppression in the States. But I also have to see two sides. There's always two sides to everything.
there you go.
There's always two sides to that. Wakanda, I think they realized because of how he wanted to do it, it would cause more of an uproar of a war.
Of course.
Right.
Yeah.
And they're
And
not.
that-
They're not a war.
that's
They're
not
not
what
a
they
warring
want.
people.
Yeah, that's not the type of stuff they want their weapon used for, and eventually it will turn into that.
The thing that you're saying is like there's two sides to every story. Like you have to look at both sides.
You
Historically,
have to.
black people have had one of the roughest shakes of things, you know, and then you understand why T'Challa was like, we need to keep everything here, because if we put it out there, who's to say what's going to happen? Who's to say?
Like, once
Yeah,
it's out,
we could
you can't bring
take
it back.
over. We could take over easily, but then we'd be just as bad as what
And
happens.
Killmonger pretty much is almost an example of that. Somebody's gonna have that kind of mindset, and it's gonna take it too far.
So it was a violence begets violence.
Right.
But
Yeah,
but the thing is, with Killmonger, can you really blame him?
No,
Like,
not at all.
That's why it's hard.
Not at
Because
all.
He came back home and his dad was dead
Yeah.
on the floor, and
Yeah,
he found
they-
out who did it. It was
But
like, what?
that's the thing I liked about T'Challa and Killmonger. They were exact opposites of each other.
Yeah, and
Like
cousins
this-
too.
Yeah, and they were cousins. Like they were exact opposites of each other, but they were family.
Yeah,
You know, it's kind of like
That kind
it's
of made it worse.
it's just a matter of like you have ideals and you can align with both ideals. One comes from a place of history. One comes from a place of changing that history. And then you have Killmonger. He said so many things. You're like, yep.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And
That's
that's the
true.
thing. And those are the best villains,
And what
I
you
have to
gonna
say.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The best villains are the
Right.
villains
Can't say anything
like
about that.
like Magneto. Like as crazy and bad as Magneto has been, like a lot of times black people often like he's got a point. Like we need
Yes.
to protect these people,
Yeah.
These
our
are
kind,
own
right?
people.
Right, my own
These
people.
are our own people.
And
And we
those
need
are
to
the
take over, especially if
best
we have the
villains
resources.
because you can
to.
relate. It's like you
But-
don't have to
yeah.
agree with the status quo. There's a different approach at it, and even if their approach is a little bit more violent or whatever, but still, it's like it doesn't mean they're wrong.
Right.
No, but
No,
unfortunately, it's
not
It's
almost
a relatable villain.
But unfortunately, violence in that is inevitable. You're gonna have you can't get around it because you challenge somebody else's thoughts, you challenge somebody else's ideas. They're gonna meet you with force, regardless.
I
Absolutely.
mean,
So this,
Okoye,
you can't really avoid that.
Okoye said just as much when Killmonger took the throne, when he defeated T'Challa, when he took the throne, and Killmonger was like, "We need to get out there. We have the resources. We need to get out there, and we need to take over. We need to conquer." And she's like, "Wakanda has survived as long as it has, just because we only fight when it is absolutely necessary."
Yeah.
And then Wakabi says to her, "That's how it was in the old days, but that's not how it is now."
Right.
You know, so again, you still
Kind
have
of a change of regime.
And
You
also,
still have
look
both
at how many
sides.
people immediately joined Killmonger.
Yeah.
His
I
boy,
thought
okay.
that was foolish,
I'm a-
man. Like Wakabi, like right away.
I'm gonna start off and say
I understand
all
that.
my problems with this movie are purely from a comic book fanboy standpoint. Nothing is wrong with any of the acting or the portrayals of black people or anything like that. This was a grade A movie, but I will say for Killmonger, did anybody think his dialogue was kind of cheesy at times? Like, or maybe his delivery of the dialogue. You know what I mean? Like,
I can,
he
I
was
can
like,
see that.
maybe
because
a
somebody
But
would
wait
be
a
like,
minute.
"Are you coming?" He'd be
I
like,
can
"Yeah,
see
for
that,
sure,
but-
I'm coming, no doubt."
I
And I know he
can
grew up
see
amongst
that.
Americans, but I wanted him to be a little more thought out, like a little more meticulous in the way he was
Especially because he has
thinking.
military background.
Right,
and all these
and
things,
he's a
like,
mercenary
He
and
probably
stuff
would be
like
like,
that.
"Sir, yes,
The
sir."
thing is-
kind of thing.
And I was
thing
just like,
is-
it's kind of cheesy the way he's talking a little
I
bit.
agree with that. I agree with you with some of the delivery of his lines and even some of the lines themselves. But you have to understand. I think that they wanted to go for something that we can relate to, someone
Right.
that we can relate to
But
more
he-
on a more personal level.
He just didn't even sound like kingly or like, and he's not supposed
But
to sound like
he's not
T'Challa.
supposed to.
He's not.
Yeah.
But
the thing is, he's not supposed to because he
I just
grew
want
up
him
in
to be a little more-
California.
But he also had
In the comics, it's really he grew up in New York.
And he
I just wanted him to be a
Right.
little more thought out in the way that he spoke and what he was really planning on doing. Like
You
as
gotta
far as
admit,
like
though,
delivering the line.
The "Hey Auntie" line was a good.
It was
line.
funny. And
Yeah.
The "Hey Auntie."
was this movie funny?
Yeah, it was funny.
Were there a lot of humorous moments in this movie?
Yeah.
I was cracking
There
up,
was
dude.
one, yeah.
There
There was some, but
I think it was.
Don't sneak up on me, colonizer.
Colonizer.
That was funny.
Yo, I love it.
Colonizer.
What about the what are those? Like, I love that line.
You know what I call them? Sneakers.
Purely cheesy. Sneakers was funny, but the what are those
I
was
like-
kind of a little bit too much
And the
on
part
the nose.
where she makes him kick the suit. Like,
That was
funny
the
too.
recording, that was funny too.
But you saw that kinetic burst thing coming a mile away when she was like, "Now hit it again." I was like, "It's gonna blow him back."
Is that like
You just
she
said it
had her
absorbs
phone
energy.
down?
Yeah,
Like, why
I just said it absorbs
Like,
energy.
delete that video.
That was funny. He was like, "I'm gonna need that video."
footage.
And plus, like the guy at the end, I did not understand why he wanted to join Killmonger so much. I mean, I know he was down with sending the weapons out
Revenge.
earlier, but
Yeah.
you lived in Wakanda your whole life. You should honor tradition of the challenge.
Because because
Honor the challenge. Like the way he was willing to go against all he knew and his family and friends
Just so
and fight for
fast,
this
yeah.
Killmonger guy who
I think-
just showed up 2 days ago.
I think
Parents
that's
were
like
killed.
I think that's just because
I don't know. I didn't buy it. If I would have been fine with him being on his side, but just honor the challenge. T'Challa was there. Killmonger's here. He's not dead. Honor the challenge.
that has
No.
to go. That has to show with what he said. What he was saying about the old ways versus the ways he wanted. Like with that
Right.
conversation he had with T'Challa in the beginning.
He
of the
was
movie,
saying
like,
that
you
they
know,
should.
either kill Claw
I'm down to go out
or
with my
bring
man.
him back.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm
Kill
down to go
Claw,
out
bring
and
him
kill
back, and
people.
T'Challa's like, I promise. And T'Challa comes back and says to
It wasn't
him,
happening.
I'm sorry, he got away from us.
Mhm.
And then he's like, 30 years your father was king.
I thought you'd be
and
different.
I thought you'd be different.
Yeah.
I
You
know.
know?
So they kind of set it up
So
for him.
that was a setup
Yeah, it was
for
funny.
eventually him, because he's really set in his ways. Especially he's like basically him and his tribe are like border patrol.
But even his wife,
Yeah.
they kept calling each other "my love." Like they were. Like, what
Yeah,
made
she's
them
ready to
want to
kill
go
him, too.
against his wife? That was his love. I don't know.
I think
All right,
that
let
was
me-
right.
Well, not
Right.
at the end.
Mhm.
Not at the end. He's like, "Would you
Oh, she
really
locked
kill
him
me?"
up.
And she's like, "Without question." And he's like, "You got this."
He's like, all right, okay,
She
okay.
realized, like, I
So
mean,
is he a war criminal now? Did he commit treason?
We'll see in the next
We'll
one.
see. We'll
Because
see.
Wakabi is like, so I'm thinking back
'Cause he
to the
was
comics.
respected.
Wakabi was like, he was like a staple in like T'Challa's original like.
He was
set.
respected. You could
Like
tell.
he was a
Yeah.
tech guy. He was like ingrained in
You
T'Challa's.
see that sword
he
he
was like
pulled
his
out?
right hand man.
Yeah, he was right hand man.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Like I don't. It's
think
weird if they take him out, and also he played the role well. I like
Mhm.
seeing Daniel Kaluuya in roles. So
I mean,
He
you
also
don't
played-
see many dark skinned brothers in
Nah.
movies, man.
Yeah.
Hollywood only hires so many of
Wesley
those.
Snipes.
Mhm.
Yeah, Wesley Snipes was like the
That's
only
it.
one
Where's he
for the
been?
longest time.
That's it.
I love this movie.
all right,
man. I
let
just
me
love seeing
take
all
this
that screen.
moment to bring up my issue. So
Just one.
I have an issue.
He
So
said shoe.
shoot. So some of the CGI with the animals was a little
Yeah.
spotty to me.
I
And I
agree.
felt like it could have been better. Like
I
you couldn't
think-
pull
I think
no
the CG
Jurassic Park.
But off a
level.
$200 million budget.
I
They
think
got a costume
I think the
for him.
CGI in general was a little
Spotty.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was a little
I
spotty.
thought it looked good.
I thought it was alright.
It was still visually amazing.
Like when
and-
Claw's arm
and-
transformed, I was like, "Oh shit!"
Yeah.
He
that
got
was-
a cannon in his arm.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
That was awesome.
just like mostly with the animals and
Like
some
the
of the
rhino
last
and stuff?
scenes, some of the stuff
Mhm.
was a little too.
Like the part where they were putting the snow over T'Challa.
Yeah.
Like that was all CGI snow. You could clearly see
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
none
That.
of it was there. It was
So
just
it
like,
was,
ugh.
it was those things like that kind of got to me. It was like
I
y'all
like it.
y'all didn't dig too deeply to find the best CGI team you could, but at the same time, it was still a visually amazing movie.
It was.
I
It was
felt, I
definitely
felt,
well
I felt the
directed,
same
man.
way about Spider-Man: Homecoming. I thought the CGI
Yeah?
was a little.
I like.
I'm trying to remember.
I
only saw it
like the
once,
movie
so-
enough,
Mhm.
but I think the CGI was just a little
Yeah, it was.
iffy at times.
I don't think that had a large budget as well.
No, it had definitely less than this.
I had to
Mhm.
get, I had to get used to that one right there. Like I said, the first time I seen it was on that's the first time
Spider-Man:
I seen it.
Homecoming.
I had to get used to the idea of how technologically enhanced we're in now, the type of age we're in,
Yeah,
and the fact that
It's hard to buy.
I had to understand where he was coming from with that Spider-Man suit, the way it was made, because like I said, he teamed up with Tony Stark. He's his protege, and so with his Tony Stark touch on it, he put his signature into his suit.
yeah.
So I had to understand how that suit was coming about.
Because
So
that's
that was
also
tight.
not the original Spider-Man story anybody
No.
used to. So if you don't know Spider-Man, you don't know
yeah,
And I would say, in
Still,
particular,
if you're
I'm
not
glad
Spider-Man,
they.
Where have you been?
I'm glad.
Well, yeah, but if you don't know the original Spider-Man story, and if you don't know the alternative Spider-Man story,
Yeah, Ultimate
the
Spider-Man.
Ultimate Spider-Man story,
Yeah,
this is like you're not gonna. Yeah, you're a little bit
As far as
lost.
Spider-Man, I'm glad they integrated Tony's technology into a suit. It made it so much cooler, like with Karen and
I love
I like
Karen.
Karen.
start
I like
parts
Karen.
of the webbing,
I thought
electro
that was
webbing
funny.
and shit.
Mhm.
But
that was
for
funny.
as far as Black Panther, man, like there were a couple problems I had. Only like I wanted to see more of the technology through the vibranium. Like, how did the vibranium affect? Remember when the guy got the bullet wound and he stuck one of those vibranium things
beads.
into it? Yeah, like how did that heal the guy, or how did the metal in there help him survive in
What did it
stasis
do?
or whatever to get back to
What did
the
it
medical
do?
facility? You know,
Yeah.
and like when he. In the beginning of the movie, when he was tracking the movements of the cars, and I was saying before casting, he picked up one of the cars and set it back down, and so that was like a moving map, like a forming map. So how did they send like electrical pulses through the vibranium infused dust to get this thing to? I just
I
want to
don't
see
know.
more
Yeah,
about
sure.
the technology
Yeah.
of Wakanda. You
Yeah,
know?
sure. Yeah.
I can see it.
Right, like, I don't know either, but I'm just saying, like, I wanted to
I don't
know
know.
more. I wish
How
they
does
went
how does
more
Vision
into it.
work? You know, like, I don't know.
I guess
He works because he has the Mind
Right.
Stone, and they built his body. They showed you in Avengers how they chemically built his body. You know
I know,
what I mean?
but
They
you're
had to
asking.
incubate him.
I feel you. It's
So, I
like
mean,
it's
some
like
people-
on a
but,
it's on a level like
I think
technology. where you have to,
that's a little. I think that
you
I
have to
think, like,
suspend
yeah.
your disbelief a little
think,
bit.
yeah, I
right?
think
Right,
you're going a
but you
little-
have to do that with any comic book movie.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? You have to suspend disbelief. I mean, you're not going to believe that a guy dressed in a Black Panther suit is jumping down onto some cars with kinetic energy and blowing it up. But I accept it. But I just wanted to delve deeper into the world of the Black Panther and understand how this technology works. You know what I mean? Like,
Thing is,
because this is some of the
thing
best
is
stuff
that's-
we've seen since
that-
Tony Stark.
Yeah, that's that. I mean, I
This
see your point.
combined
I
with
just-
Tony Stark would rival Thanos' technology. I would think, right? As far as we've seen.
I'm sure. Yeah, I think Wakanda technology. I mean, get it. Black Panther.
So does
himself
Wakanda
is
have
what-
satellites? Do they have like
I'm sure-
satellites?
yeah, they do.
right.
Yes.
They
Does
do.
it have vibranium in it?
Yeah,
Probably.
everything.
They have
everything-
satellites
fucking
nobody
awesome.
knows about.
Wakanda.
They
The
got
thing
satellites
is-
no other country knows about.
The thing
Like-
is, like, I think what you're looking
Think about
for is
tech.
like a dossier, like a dossier, or like a real detailed research,
So
like
much. It
briefing
would
on,
have
like,
took a
all
couple
the
lines,
technology.
like when she was running through and showing him the new improvements she made to his suit, something like that. Just
But it
maybe
goes
when they
to-
brought the guy Ross back to the base and he's walking through, oh, you guys really do have all this technology.
But-
Maybe explain some of it then.
But
how does it work?
to that point, it goes to a bigger point of the movie that, like, it's a point that's been said throughout the whole movie. It's like, we want to keep the technology to ourselves.
Right.
So it's
So
kinda
why
like the
bring
same-
Ross there in
it's
the first
same-
place? Because
it's
he's
the
going to
same-
go tell his government.
No. It's
These
the same
motherfuckers
thing.
got more than we thought. Like,
No,
we need to
because-
get on the shit because
No,
they.
I mean, we eventually know Ross and T'Challa become really good friends, so
Yeah,
he's not
you
going to
saying
go
that.
blow him up like that. But at the same time, it's like the whole point was just like Wakanda wants to keep technology for themselves. So it's like
So we
it's
as
the
the viewers,
we as
we're
the audience,
we're the outsiders.
we're seeing all of this from the first time, right? We're seeing all this for the first time. We're like, wow, whoa, what? This is amazing.
We're
What is
We're
this?
finding out with Ross.
Right,
Like,
exactly.
like when
He's a
the
perfect
Dora Milaje
time.
slammed their staffs on that boat, remember?
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
the shockwave went through and it
shockwave.
opened up the
Right.
thing,
Yeah.
and like nobody was like, how did that happen?
Yeah, nobody's like,
But,
what
but,
exactly was
like,
what?
nobody
vibranium
said
is
it.
magic.
Water,
Vibranium is magic, and it can do shit.
Nobody said it, but you're curious. I mean,
Of course
Leia
you'd be-
floated back
I've
into
seen
the
this a
ship, but
million
you still want to
times,
know how it
and never
happened.
Of course you'd be curious,
Yeah.
but at the same time, it's like we're
Look.
thinking like bigger picture.
We were talking about Star Wars. Leia floated back into the ship. I would still like to know how.
I think
Like,
it's one
I accepted that she
We'd
did
like
it. I
to
thought
know.
it
We'd
was
like to
dumb.
know how. We know how. We know.
Hey, I thought it was dumb when she
We
did
know
it,
how-
but
we know-
I accepted it. But
we
I
know
still want to know
how-
how she did that.
We know how it's because she's force sensitive, but at the same
How
time,
did
We
Rey-
can assume
it
after
doesn't-
the last 35 years, she had some actual force.
How did
But
Rey
it
Jedi
doesn't-
mind trick
training
somebody
when she's
without any
in war
training?
all the time?
But
I
it doesn't
assume she
mean.
has
But
some
it doesn't
training.
mean. It
doesn't
doesn't mean
have
that
any
it was believable. It doesn't mean
Her
that it was
brother is
believable.
her brother.
Her brother is one of the strongest Jedi ever in the universe of Star Wars.
So he
They
didn't show her
us that.
nothing.
No, he's been gone for the last 30 years. Wherever he went for the fucking.
No, the force runs in that family. You know,
Right, but that doesn't mean she knows how to force float through the.
No, but she has limited potential with the force. Not as powerful.
He was
as
training
Luke,
her
not as
son.
powerful as her
He wasn't
father.
absolutely gone.
How did Ray Jedi mind trick that guard in the first movie?
Because Ray is
she didn't have any training. She didn't know anything
Ray
about
doesn't
the
have
Force.
any training, but Ray supposedly is going to be like the strongest force user ever.
Even Luke needed training. Even Anakin needed training.
Right.
All right, let me bring this back to.
She's of a different breed. She's like a different breed.
Okay,
She's on another level.
Like I, this is me as a fanboy. I just wanted to know more about the world of Wakanda because it was so cool and it was a different spin, and also with it being the first predominantly and very predominantly. What was there like 2 white people in this movie?
That's it.
Was there any other races?
Nope.
There was the
Chinese.
There was the Asian lady at the front.
In Korea.
All right, so what you guys think about the whole astral plane scene? Like,
I loved when his father hopped down off that tree and then turned into the T'Chaka.
turned into
And then you saw the other Black Panthers that were hanging out.
Right,
just a historical
like,
lineage
the other
of
Black Panther
kings.
just hanging out.
That's
I thought that was cool, and it's tied to the comics too.
yeah,
So I
and
thought
it was very
really
believable.
awesome.
It also brings this whole spiritual aspect of Wakanda, which is like they have magic in Wakanda. So I mean, I don't see some of that, but they have like legitimate magic in it. So it would be cool if they like, brought more of that later to the movie.
Well, I'm thinking like tying into Infinity War. I think a lot of that has to do with the meteorite, right? I think it's the Soul Gem, man. I was mentioning to these guys before we started recording. I was just like, I just love that the Soul Gem is in Wakanda.
Yeah.
The Soul
That's
Gem is in Wakanda.
not a coincidence. They did that shit.
That's not a coincidence at all, like you said,
You know
man.
what I'm
It
saying?
is
Exactly.
not.
That was
They
not
did
a
that shit on
coincidence. No, yo, where should we put this magical gem of
It's the last one. It's the last one. We did power, space, time. What about the soul?
Soul Train. It's
like,
like,
hey.
no.
He's like, hey, we should do a Black Panther movie.
There you go.
Idea. There you go.
I cannot wait for Infinity War.
Yo,
Yeah, I mean, okay. And I'll say another thing. This is where I was talking about people probably gonna get mad at me. Like, there's a lot of hypocrisy in Black people as far as like the community, right? Like a lot of times, and I'm not sure if it's a Black issue or if it's just a societal issue. And I was saying this to C yesterday. Like, we tend to gloss on to the things that are hot at the moment. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if that's Black people or society in general, right? We care about what's hot now, what matters now, you know? And I feel like a lot of people, maybe not all of us here at this table, we probably would have seen the movie anyway because we're geeks and fanboys and we like comic book movies. But I feel like maybe some people probably wouldn't even have seen this movie if not for it just being an all Black cast, which is definitely great. Like, go support the movie. My boy called me this morning. Was like, I was just calling you last night because I missed his call. He's like, I was asking you, was the movie worth seeing? Fuck yeah, it is worth seeing. Go support it. You know what I mean? Go pay your money. Like, of course, so we can get more of these. You know,
Right.
I want to see another Black Panther
First of its
movie.
kind.
But at the end of the movie, we got up. The movie's over. It just this whole big clap went through the whole theater, and I'm like, yes, but I still had some issues. Like, you know what I mean? Like, okay, fine. Now, I'm not talking about like from a Black standpoint. Just with the movie, like I wanted to know more like the technology and what drove the motivations for some of these guys, like the general who turned on Wakanda. You know, like I wanted to know more about that shit. I'm glad they tied Bucky in at the end because I wanted to see him tied into the overall MCU. Like,
they had to explain it because
Well,
he
glad
was
they had
there from the
Bucky
last
there. Right.
movie.
He was there from
I'm
Civil
so
War.
glad they showed Bucky because
Yeah, no, I mean, and
Yo, he gonna come back with a vibranium arm.
yeah,
set up.
dog.
Like, I'm just like,
And
Bucky gonna be
that
lit.
arm is not going anywhere from that point. That arm is not going anywhere.
it explains
from that
Captain America having a base to operate out of because he's not with Tony Stark anymore.
Right.
It gives them an army,
That's
a
right.
technological
T'Challa
advanced
and
army,
Cap.
and
Close.
it
point.
explains so
And
much.
it also makes sense too because in the comics, like actually, it's kind of backwards, but in the comics, like the original Captain America, not Isaiah Bradley, but like Steve Rogers from way back, gave T'Chaka, or no, he gave T'Chaka the idea to make like a triangle shield for him. The triangle shield that Captain America used to have, that's from Wakanda. That's vibranium from Wakanda. And I'm like,
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So like it's cool, like with the whole like get this man a shield. That has a lot of significance, but a lot of people probably didn't like. See that.
Is Cap gonna have the
triangle shield
in the next one?
Yeah, it's gonna. I think it's gonna
Oh
be.
snap!
I saw him have some gauntlets or something on.
It's
so
gonna be.
maybe.
It's gonna be like a triangle shield, but it's not gonna be like stars and stripes. You know. It's gonna
Okay.
be like, but it's gonna be so that whole like get this man.
I remember that shield. I didn't know it was vibranium.
Hey, it's like
because I didn't read the old.
It's like Ultron said, these guys have vibranium.
Oh
all they
my
can do is
God.
make a frisbee. What the fuck? You know what I mean? Like,
I love that.
Yeah, it's like,
I love
y'all
that.
Y'all made a
That was
shield.
one of
You
like the few lines that clicked with me with Ultron.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah.
It was like, yeah, exactly. They made a frisbee out of this shit.
Like the most
you know what
valuable.
you could do with this metal?
Like the most valuable and rare metal in the world, and they use the rest of it
Yeah,
to make
so
a
like
frisbee.
my thing with that is like not even like a problem. It's like I call it the Obama effect, right? Because I just thought of that in the movie theaters because we all knew who we were voting for before when Obama first came on the screen, right? So regardless, I'm not saying that's a bad thing because black people tend to band and group together a lot of times quick, over something like the Black Panther
Because
movie.
we have to, right?
But unfortunately,
But we knew who we were voting for, and we knew we were seeing this movie. People probably didn't even care about seeing this movie until after the first week, and all the hype came up for. Oh my God, I saw my sister. I'm not going to call out her name. She just watched Civil War because she went and seen Black Panther. And I'm feeling like she only seen Black Panther because it was a bunch of her friends were talking about it, and it was hot.
It was in the air,
and she wanted to see it.
Either.
But I'm like, Black Panther was in Civil War. You should have been seeing Civil War. Like we were all friends of this before Black Panther. We were going to see this shit regardless. But just sometimes some black people, man, we have a tendency to gloss on.
But speaking of like globbing on to like hot things because black people doing it. So here's the thing: like Obama, we voted for Obama. Of course, we were going to vote for Obama. But was it more because? But here's the thing: people turn their fucking back on goddamn Ben Carson immediately because we know who the hell that is.
Yeah.
Like if it was Ben Carson running in the era of Obama, it was Ben Carson and Hillary Clinton. Hillary Clinton would have won.
Yeah,
what
like
the fuck?
time.
There is some aspect of knowing what the hell the topic is and what the subject is and what's at stake. Yeah. We saw Obama as like a signal of hope, of course, and he was talking about change. He can't do shit. It's fine. We knew what he was talking about.
I think it would have been a tougher race.
Definitely was not. He's just because he was black, we wouldn't have voted for him.
I think it would have been a tougher race if Mitt Romney was black too. You know what I mean? Like if the person who was running against Obama was black and Obama was black, it would have been like,
it would have went down to.
Let me see what they're talking about.
Come on,
but before that, it was like Obama's black. I'm voting for that.
Come on, in this day and age, that was not going to happen. You had two black candidates, but especially on the Republican Party.
That would have been tough, dog. That would have been a split decision right there. Like,
there ain't that many black Republicans.
That's what
count
I'm
them on one hand. It's like 6 of them.
All right. Let me just go through some numbers for Black Panther. This is as of February 25th. This is according to Box Office Mojo. As right now, the domestic gross for Black Panther is at $400,422,000, which is great, man. Like on an estimated budget of I guess $200 million.
It's only.
This came up today.
They've already doubled their money.
This last week. This came up on the 23rd. It said Black Panther blows past $500 million at the global box office.
That's
global box office.
Worldwide gross as of today is actually at $704 million.
Woo!
422,000.
We're gonna get another one, people.
We're gonna get
another one. Foreign gross is $304 million. Foreign gross is $304 million. Domestic gross is $400 million. So domestic percent of worldwide. So 56% of the whole worldwide gross came out of America.
And it has yet to open in certain regions yet. It hasn't opened in some regions yet.
My boy was like, "Is it worth seeing?" Hell yes.
Yes,
man. What are you talking about? Go see.
I don't know. Well, so I was actually at work the other day, and so we were, me and my coworkers were talking about Black Panther. You go, Black Panther, that shit was tight, right? But then one of my boys is like, "Yo, it's already out on Fire Stick," and I'm like, "You better stop that shit."
Yeah, man, come on, man.
I'm like, "You better stop that shit."
What's his name? I'm coming to find you.
His name.
I am coming to Wakanda.
I can't
buy the ticket.
I can't mention his name, but I was just like, yo, you better stop that shit. You better go fucking support. He's like, I'm gonna see it twice. I'm like, that's not enough.
No.
Every time you see it, you pay for it.
You buy that shit on Blu-ray, goddammit.
Word. That's not
Blu-ray and DVD.
I'm like, you should have already pre-ordered it because I did on Blu-ray.
I'm on it. I'm on it.
I also want to touch on.
Stop playing.
Let's stop playing with me.
I just want to touch on how significant was this movie to the black community, right?
And like,
how significant? Jesus.
Okay, it's an important moment, right? We all should go see it. This is the first time we've seen this
You mean
percentage of a
American black
cast.
community or the worldwide black community?
Maybe
Because
worldwide,
I want
but
to talk
mostly
about. I
American.
wanted to talk about
American.
the. How, I wanted to also
There's
talk
a
about the
difference.
effects on African communities.
There's a difference. Yeah.
Like there's a difference. But
Maybe
we're talking about-
American.
All right.
But like, is
You gotta
this
start there
as
first.
important a moment as say a sit-in at a lunch counter that won't serve you food? You know what I mean? Like, is this moment going to be remembered 50 years from now?
I think
Oh,
it
yeah.
will.
20 years from
I
now?
haven't answered. I haven't answered
You know?
that question.
I think it
Like,
will.
I don't know if it
I
will.
think
It's a
you wanted to say
movie.
something.
No, I think it will because think about the aspect. Like I said, think about the aspect of this movie and the records it broke.
Mhm.
You know that this will it will be remembered because it's going. It's like it hasn't even got really worldwide yet, and it's
Right.
already broken records that no other movie had. Not even
Mhm.
Star Wars.
Mhm.
Like so, I think
Definitely.
so. I believe
Star Wars.
Star
War
Wars.
of the
Sorry, you. Star Wars.
I'm just pouring my wine.
But no, I feel you.
Well,
Steve.
I-
I feel
I
you.
like I said, but
My
honestly,
vibranium infused
and
wine.
actually, like I said, we were talking about this, and honestly, for one point, I did agree with him. I thought when he mentioned it, because I didn't think in the beginning it would be remembered, such as like the civil rights movement, Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, people sitting in Rosa Parks,
Mhm.
sitting at the counters and white tables and stuff like that, and I didn't think it would be remembered. Now, when I'm thinking about it, and I thought about when we're talking about it, I think it will because of all the records it broke before it even got worldwide, and I like I said, it will be remembered.
Also
Mhm.
because it was something that black people have been asking for.
Right.
So the whole idea of
It only took 130 years.
right, it only took,
400
but this
years.
is the pinnacle of a visual experience, which is in Africa, right? That
Mhm.
black people on the fringes of the entertainment industry have been creating stories, books, novels, comic book series. We have been creating content for ever,
Years, decades,
centering
centuries.
around black people and the black African experience. And now we finally have it on the big screen in Hollywood with a massive
With the
200
biggest-
million budget,
with the biggest Hollywood
Turnout.
studio ever.
right? With a black director, a 98% black cast. Like this is not like this is
Hey, the
exactly
2%,
what we
the
do.
2% came
black
from two
people
black
in the
white
crew.
people.
Two white people.
That's
Another 100 people.
2%.
Two more white.
Two Tolkien white people.
Y'all see the memes about that though?
The two Tolkien white people.
Yeah,
Because
exactly.
Bilbo and
Token,
Gollum.
And that's exactly what it was. And it was on
I thought
purpose.
that
They
was
were the
so good.
token white people.
That
Which
was
the black
so
people
funny.
have always been in these 98% white movies. They've always had the
What's that
nice
meme, yo?
I recently
was
watched
like,
I recently watched Maze Runner, right? Maze Runner. Token black character. I don't know if y'all have seen it, but I don't even know who the guy is. But he's the token black guy. He comes in useful for one moment, and he doesn't have any other.
And he gets
Look,
killed.
usually-
Yeah,
Or he gets killed,
Yeah.
and then same with
Usually-
Hunger Games.
Yeah.
Same with Divergent. Same with all of
It's-
these.
Yeah.
Exactly.
any-
You have
any
all
horror
of
movie.
Usually in Michael B. Jordan's movies, he's the token black guy. You know what I mean? But
Exactly,
now he's
right.
Killmonger in that
Yeah.
joint. So
So
Right,
like
exactly.
long comment incoming. I'm not sure if you.
No,
finished
yeah,
it,
I'm done. But I'm saying,
Okay.
but this is what black people have been asking for, and I think because of
definitely
that,
have, yeah.
this will change the game. This will change the game.
it
Like
totally
the
does. It
blaxploitation
shows that you
movies
can
changed
have
the
an
game.
all-black cast and still make money from a
Right.
Hollywood standpoint, and that it will be supported from a community standpoint. You know.
So
So
definitely
good.
what you guys said.
So
Change the game like Soul Glow.
Wakanda.
Nah, but I was gonna say that this movie has it's not gonna end racism.
Mhm.
You know, it's not going to change the state of things. But this is a start. The impact that this movie has had, this is a start because
Hell
you
yeah.
know we're tired of seeing. This is the first movie. I'll be honest with you guys. This is the first movie I ever really saw myself as like a superhero.
Mhm.
Like when I was watching it, I was like, "Holy shit!" Like that could be me. And if this is me as a 30-something-year-old person, imagine a little kid
Mhm.
Right.
watching the movie. It's
Have you
like,
guys seen the pictures?
I'm
Of,
excited,
of
man.
the poster boards with
Yes.
the little black kids?
yeah,
Yeah.
man, they're just like looking up, and it's just like, oh my god, it was so inspirational.
I'm getting chills. Man.
But the thing is that that's the thing. Like
we
we're
were the
tired,
kids
we're
that didn't
tired.
have-
We're tired. Exactly.
We were
We're
those
tired
kids.
we're tired of seeing ourselves in movies as, like we mentioned before, slaves, gang members, being poor, abusive
addicts.
Sad
deadbeat people,
story.
crack addicts.
Even though Pookie from New Jack City was a classic character, he was a crack addict.
Oh, that's a classic.
No, who wants to grow up to be Pookie though?
Pookie was fucked up.
That was a warning. Pookie was a warning.
He was an exception in the morning.
No, but it's like we're tired of seeing ourselves like in these types of roles, and this is the first time. This is the first real time that we're able to see ourselves in a medium such as film as like the protagonist, as people even behind the scenes, people of color. Like this is something that is representative of people of color, marginalized people. Like the women in this movie, for example, they were stronger than the men.
Yeah.
Yes.
They were stronger than the men. They were the most fucking badass women
And
I've
they
ever
held
seen.
dominant roles. Like
Yes.
one of the main women was his bodyguard, the
His
leader of
general-
his
his entire bodyguard is
Women.
all female.
Yes.
And there's nothing
And the
wrong
elite-
with that.
and the
That
elite
is
warrior
awesome.
class of women.
And she was one of the strongest characters. And she had
She
a
was-
cool
she-
ass
she
spear
was-
scene in the casino where
Yeah.
she was taking some guys out in the casino with the spear.
Yo,
That was cool as hell.
that was so cool, and
That was one of the coolest fight
the
scenes
car
in the movie.
the car chase too, where she stopped the car dead in its
dude,
tracks.
that's what-
Yo,
She threw that spear.
it stopped the car dead in its tracks. Like the car was accelerating, and the car stopped, boom, dead. And I'm like, yo,
Vibranium,
that is
bitch.
awesome, vibranium,
Yes.
vibranium. But it's just like the woman in this movie. It's like it's not just for people of color, but the woman too.
Like that is my
Like
wife.
that's something you don't see, and especially black women, you don't see that. You've never seen that.
Like, you've always seen a black woman as somebody who's been like the victim who's been beat up upon, and also she's always been in media. She's always been the strongest, right?
Right.
She's been the strongest because she had to be, right?
Right.
She's been
Because she's had to deal with all the shit that's going on around her. Like
Yeah.
that all these fucking men are doing. Like, to be honest, like before this movie, only movies that we had like with this much representation of people of color, Tyler Perry movies and Fast and Furious movies.
Mhm.
You know, because Fast and Furious movies, you
Some
gotta
classics
give
like
it to
the
Fast and Furious.
brothers.
It's a diverse cast.
It's
for
diverse,
Fast and
yes.
Furious. You got to give it to them.
Everybody's in it.
You know,
Yeah.
one white guy,
Asian
half
guy,
black, half
black,
white, Asian
Latino.
guy, Latino guy,
Yeah.
people from other countries like Israel. You know, so it's
Brazil.
just like
You got-
Brazil.
You got a
know,
couple
so-
classes mixed up in there, like soul food and like
But those are the same
wood
genre,
and stuff like that.
drama
Yeah,
movies.
but
Yeah,
I mean, come on, like, and those, like, but you also have movies like Soul Plane, and we made a crack with Soul Plane earlier, but like Soul Plane, I'm like, come on, though.
Yeah.
Predominantly black cast, but I'm like, what y'all doing?
But
You might
the
get a-
story-
you might get a-
but-
Friday.
It's like stereo-
Friday was
stereotypical.
funny as hell.
Classic though.
But
man.
that's why I really like this movie though, because it showed black people though with the actual good story, not just like stereotypically portrayed. Like I mean,
Yes.
I love Friday After Next, and all these.
Oh,
other
no,
I love
Friday.
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 Yeah.
Shit.
But,
Love
like,
Friday.
but the thing is though, Black Panther though, like had a very
He's a
inspirational.
king.
Yeah.
He's a king of a country.
Look,
In
Friday,
Africa.
Friday, they smoked weed, owed a drug dealer some money, and got
Yeah,
shot at the end.
That was the
That was
storyline.
the whole thing.
That was the whole
That was it,
storyline.
all in one day.
But I
that's
like
what-
Friday though.
And,
I like
and,
Friday.
and,
That's
and
good.
how much does it say that that's one of black people's favorite movie?
Yeah.
Like, how much does that say? Like,
I
that
think
was
this
it.
will be
Like,
one of black people's favorite
I
movies.
mean,
This
at the end
one
of the day.
forward.
I mean,
yeah.
to be fair, like this is like we have black people that are predominant in Africa, and it's not the third world country Africa that we're conditioned to see.
Yeah.
It's the beautiful Africa. It's like the Africa
parts.
that it's like where the natural resource makes T'Challa the richest person by far in the Marvel
Dude, he
universe.
bought half
You know how much he's worth?
He bought buildings in Oakland.
You know
He
how
bought
much
a block
he's
in
worth?
Oakland at the end of the movie.
You know how
That's
much
that's
this
some
dude is
Tony
worth?
Stark, Bruce Wayne shit.
This
right
mo-
there.
this dude,
Dude.
they're not
Tony
even on
Stark
his
ain't
level.
shit.
They ain't shit,
But I'm just
combined
saying, like,
compared to him.
they're
You talking
They're-
about money?
The level of the resources that
Money?
T'Challa has access to versus those guys that gives you a perspective like, oh shit. I mean,
Like he
Tony Stark can do this
he
shit.
is miles above them. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
It's like T'Challa's worth $90.7 trillion.
Dude, he
That's
bought
with
a
a
fucking
T.
city block in Oakland. Dog. He was like, I bought
Trillion.
that building.
And
And
I
that
bought that
building way over
building.
there.
And I bought that building too.
And I bought that building down there, but I'm gonna open that next week. That's gonna
He's
be
worth-
ice. You know.
I'm put up a Wakobi in McDonald's.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Wow, Wachovia.
not even around. I'm gonna bring Wachovia back from the dead and put it
Set
over
up the
here.
Wakanda Bank,
Wakanda Bank.
International Wakanda Bank.
Nah,
Yeah.
but I mean
Vibranium
to wrap
coins.
up my point. I made my point a little shorter than I wanted to, but like just the inspiration. We need more of this, and this
Hell yeah.
and this is the start. I think this is the start of something. Like I said, it's not going to end racism, but this is the start of something great. And I just hope we just keep writing this. We need to
We
need to push forward with this,
More
starting
content.
with this.
Like I said, it keep
And I'm
going.
just so glad that this happened.
Dude,
You know?
Yeah, I like the way
so
Frank
many
put it.
stories.
I
those
felt
little
proud.
children.
Octavia Butler? Do y'all know who Octavia Butler is?
Yeah,
The
of course.
author. Octavia Butler has some of the best stories centered around black people, black characters that you will ever read.
What else
N.K.
did she,
Jemisin has a story called Dream Blood. The Dream Blood story it's Wakanda on another level, dealing with a whole nother spectrum of magical creatures and
what's her name?
abilities.
Octavia Butler.
Octavia Butler.
Is she the one that did
and
that
then
movie that's
N.K.
come out with
Jemisin.
Oprah? What is it?
Kindred?
A Ripple in Time? or something
Kindred.
like
No, Wrinkle in Time is that's not Octavia Butler.
Yeah,
Wrinkle
that's
in
someone
Time is
else. But anyway, if you got audiobooks, look her up. Like, the books are amazing. Like,
Oh, before you finish your point, I just wanted to say, like to your point, to what you're about to say, I think, but it's just like, this is, imagine how many stories, how many fantasy stories that we could get with people of color at the forefront if we were just given a chance.
just give me
And this is the start of that chance. Instead of being left to drugs,
And to
or
bring it back.
to the establishment, or to the neighborhood, or to crime, or to incarceration. We're human. We have thoughts too. We
Right.
can put
We
this
have
stuff
a
out there.
perspective and
Give
a
us a
storyline.
chance. Give all people of color a chance. Give all marginalized people a chance.
Yeah,
And you'd be surprised what you can come out with. And this is the start of that.
I
I'm
like
telling
the
you.
way that Frank put it earlier, man. I felt proud sitting there. You know what I mean?
I
There was
did.
moments where I was proud.
I swelled
like,
up with so much pride.
I mean, it was just good to see, like, now that we have a fictional world in Wakanda,
That's
predominantly
actually
black,
really visually
I
realized.
want to see a historical adaptation or something like Apocalypto style of an African kingdom or nation. You know what I mean? Like something delving back into
Like, what's that Troy?
Absolutely.
for, like,
history.
Africa?
Yeah, right. Like, 'cause you can't
Troy,
say
like,
Africa wasn't around. We
There
were
is-
here.
there is-
Spot like 300.
Yeah, I want to see
Right.
I want to see something that delves into the maybe not so much historical, but like fictional historical
And here's
kind
the
of
thing:
world.
it doesn't
of
matter
Africa.
if it's historical, literally historical fiction or fiction.
Right, but
The
just to
fact
see
of the matter is that these stories carry their own power,
And they should be
whether
told.
they're real
Should be told.
and they should be told. And we as a people have to keep creating the content.
And
The
we- and
content
now
or
we're
the
given the
stories
chance to.
which change the minds of people. If you have not realized, our world is ideology. And if you have an ideology and we are able to make this ideology centered around black people powerful enough, it will carry its own shockwave across the world. And
Well,
I feel
that's
like
what this movie's
that's
doing.
exactly, and that's why this movie been remembered. Like, forgive me, but I'm on my fucking soapbox right now.
No.
But the fact of the matter is that when
Step on.
people start creating new ideas and new things, it changes the world on a literal, visual, and
But
conscious,
remember how
subconscious
because
level
at
as
the end
well.
of the day, it is just a movie.
It is just a movie.
But it's not just a movie. It's not
Not
just
for
a
us,
every-
but not for us, but the
The
world.
It's the
impact-
story,
the
right?
impact-
It's the
the impact
story,
of it.
which is more than just the movie.
It's more than just a movie.
The stories are way more than movies. Stories have been around long before movies.
Stories have been around from the beginning of time.
But so
Why
is
do you
Black
think
Panther, and this that
Christianity,
Black Panther has never
Christmas,
had this impact.
Easter, every holiday we have is a story. The
Black
reason
Panther
that
has
the
never had
president
this
is
impact.
important is a story, right? All of these are stories which have
The reason why
changed over.
the reason why movie studios get so much funding is because they're telling stories. Stories are the
And
thing-
because of what
books.
makes money.
Stories are the things
Harry
that
Potter started off as a story.
And luckily for us, this made a lot of money, so they'll do it again.
Right.
stories have been around since the beginning of time. It's
what the
best
human
form
mind
of
is tuned
entertainment,
for.
Right, it's the best form of entertainment that we know.
Yeah, the fact is, this book right here opens up the minds of everybody to see just how creative our race is.
Not just us,
I mean,
everyone,
yeah, it is,
not
it
just
is.
us.
Yeah, it is. But I think that for me personally, I think it opens up this whole stereotype. What they're saying, they had this stereotype that was out there, and just a race that just comes up and have no kind of concept, no kind of intelligence, one-minded, one-track minded on getting money, this type of thing, no real creativity in us.
So
Right, but
let me
Frank's
take this
point,
back
how-
too. You remember when the guy in Tennessee got shot? Brown, he got shot, and Wilson, the cop that shot him, said that he saw the guy was unarmed, standing like 50, 100 feet away, and he was like, he looked like a demon to me. Like, you have to ask yourself, why was his quote, the guy was like a raging demon or something like that? He looked like a demon to me. Why was that his perspective? because of the stories he's been fed his entire life
Right.
of what black people are. If this guy in the South has only ever seen black people in rap videos, if he's only ever seen black people in the hood, if he's only ever seen black people as people
But I
he's
don't
arrested.
think a movie's gonna change that too much because he might not have even seen Black Panther. The guy who shot him, he might not have seen Black Panther.
Here's
just
the
one
thing.
individual case.
If
but this
you're,
is
we're talking about media.
Black Panther-
What is the
But
biggest
we have more
propaganda
movies,
tool?
more
Black
exposure.
Panther first
What's the
appeared
biggest
in-
propaganda
it
tool?
goes out.
Okay, it's entertainment, media and entertainment. But
Right.
Black
Media.
Panther first appeared in 1966. How many black people in the world in general cared about Black Panther before
I care
February
about Black
15th?
Panther.
Because we're nerds and we know the character of Black Panther. We know,
I care about
but
Black Panther.
nobody had contributed $400 million of their money
It's the
towards Black
same,
Panther
but
before
I mean,
this.
Well, you know,
to
So
to
how
that-
much of an impact
time.
will this
to
have on the minds
to
of
that,
people
to that
in
effect, you could
society
say
in
the same
general?
thing. To that effect, you could say the same thing about Captain America. Nobody gave a shit about Captain America before.
Right,
before
but
the
neither
movies.
Captain America doesn't have
Iron Man?
any kind of influence
Or-
on society and the thoughts of people towards black people.
It
either.
turns out the Black Panther, because
It's a
we're
movie.
so starved for good content, that this does change things.
Exactly,
Because we're so
and that's
starved
what
for
I was
content.
trying to say.
We are starved for content,
This
but
is
that's
gonna be the
Hollywood in
start-
general.
This is
Hollywood in general.
It is.
starved for
Think
I
about
agree with
Roots.
that. I
You
agree
can't
with
say
that.
Roots didn't change our world. The movie Roots, when people saw on TV, on this miniseries, when white people saw what the fuck old white people did to black slaves,
There is
like
something about seeing
that
it.
was a big part of the whole piece of like, oh shit,
There
I
is-
didn't mean
There is
like,
something
white
about
people
seeing
were
it.
apologizing for shit they didn't
Remember
do.
how people were reacting to
that was
Passion
a
of the
serious
Christ?
thing.
Passion of the Christ.
Yeah, remember
Yeah,
that?
Passion
People
of the
were
Christ,
crying and shit, and just like
my
there's
God.
something about seeing this shit.
Everybody in my theater was crying when I saw that
Dude.
movie. I think I was like one of
That
two
was a
people
powerful scene,
It
only
was,
because
it was hard to watch.
It was.
It was
Hard to
nasty.
watch.
You mean hard to watch them cry? Stop.
Man up.
Stop.
Woman up.
Niggas said it was nasty. It's nasty, though, gross.
I said, "Ooh, is that skin?"
That was ribs.
Flayed off.
Yeah, that was
I
rib
couldn't-
cage?
I couldn't. It was hard to watch.
Yeah, it was wild. Okay, last gripe with this
And
movie.
then the director ended up getting
Last-
moved out of Hollywood because he was a racist.
Dude, did you hear the tapes that he had to talk to his girlfriend? Oh my god, did you hear the tapes? that he
Black
had?
cock,
Yeah.
niggers.
He was like, "You're gonna go out and
Jesus,
get fucked
man.
by a whole pack of niggers."
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh
Yeah,
shit!"
yo, I'm just like, I
Jesus
was just like,
Christ,
wow.
man,
I'm
wow.
like, no.
And she was like,
But
like,
Jesus
for real?
says,
"No, I was calling him Riggs." I was like, "Riggs." Give it to me, Riggs.
Wait, can I say I recently watched a couple of, I tried to watch some old Lethal Weapon, and goddamn, man, I can't look at Riggs. I mean,
Mel Gibson.
no,
I
not
still
Mel
like
Gibson,
Lethal
Danny
Weapon.
Glover, man. I can't
Uh,
look at him, man. Like, I'm just like,
Why?
wow, dude, you were a patsy, man. Like,
Danny Glover is cool. I mean, he has some classic. Predator 2.
Thing is, at
Danny
that
Glover,
time,
Predator 2,
Color
but-
Purple.
at that time,
Color
at
Purple.
that time, though, it was all about black
He was
people,
Patsy,
black
son.
actors. It was
he was that
hard.
B-roll, man.
It was
And
hard.
it was cool because he was a relevant character in that movie.
Yeah.
He was his partner.
He was
Yeah.
just
And he got
important as
treated like
Riggs.
shit
I mean that
in that movie.
that entire franchise started the buddy cop or buddy movie
Mhm.
franchise
Mhm.
as a genre. You know.
Okay, last gripe with this movie. Okay,
Oh, there are more.
and it's not like look, all my gripes are purely from a fanboy standpoint, nothing
All right.
with the message
All
or
right.
anything like that. Although I did feel it got a little too political, only from the standpoint of I just want to see a comic book movie. I didn't want to see like a commentary on, even though
Well,
that's what this
what
is.
better movie to do it with?
Even though
than
that is
one,
what
though?
this is from conception, as C said, as soon as they had an all-black cast, it was already going to be a commentary on
Yep.
political.
What
but
better movie
I
to
just
do
want to see a
it?
comic movie. I wish,
Racist and
last
not
gripe,
racist.
I
Yeah.
wish there was more action. Right? Like, I wanted to
Yeah,
see a
just
little
a little
more
bit.
action a little bit.
I can
I
see
wanted to
that,
see a little
yeah.
more explosions.
I can
and
see
some,
that.
you know?
There were basically only 3 action
Right.
scenes.
And
The
I was just
Which
like,
was dope. The beginning scene?
Well, actually, if
That
you
was
count that,
tight.
that's 4. That's 4 action scenes. So the 2 battles, and then
Oh,
the
yeah.
the casino
The casino part,
and
yeah.
then the
Very
end.
end.
I just wanted to see a
And
little more
that's
superhero kind of jump down, smash your fist. Same thing with Luke. You know, I just wanted to see a little more action and a little more excitement in it. Because is it me or did the middle of the movie start to not fall down, but
Slow
drag
down
a
a
little
little
bit,
bit.
slow down a lot?
Yeah.
Like when he
Slow
fell off
down.
that, when he got thrown off that goddamn waterfall.
Yeah.
Because he got his ass kicked. Okay, he probably got his ass
He did get his ass
So,
kicked.
Yeah, he did.
Michael
Look,
B.
You
Jordan.
saw all the
we
marks.
making a point
You
to
saw all the marks.
understand.
You're like, oh, you
Yeah, as soon as he took his shirt off, I was like, oh shit.
Yeah,
All
when
those
you saw
kills?
those scars,
Yeah.
he was like, this is where every kill. I'm like,
He's like, I killed this guy in Cambodia.
Like, how
I
many
killed
people
this
did you
dude.
kill?
over-
He's like, I killed this.
like,
I got this one for
every
wrestling.
person
I got this one for typing.
I just hit one yesterday.
a Titan badge.
Yeah, I got sneezed and this appeared the other day. I don't know where it came from.
Like, this was an accident. My gun went all
Yeah,
out.
so I shot myself by accident.
When I dropped my fork. I got 4 off that one.
I got 4. Yeah, 1 for each point on the fork. I got sensitive skin. The doctor told me I need some specialized lotion.
This quadrant is based on people that looked at me funny.
I feel people that piss me off over here.
And right here is my allergies to shellfish.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Like, they should have known better.
If his
Like,
upper-
Killmonger's coming to the restaurant.
if his torso was covered like that, I wonder what his legs look like. Just
like
one
that.
more. Add one to my knee.
Yep.
But that was dope, though. When you saw those, you were like,
Oh shit!
sorry, T'Challa.
He was
Yeah,
huge,
your ass
man.
is going down.
That's what I'm saying. When I saw that, I was like,
No, and I
You
like
can see
that.
all
I
the
like,
Creed
and I
workout.
like that. And I like Word.
Yeah, you can see it, man.
And I
That dude,
like-
Michael B.
I
Jordan
like-
was huge,
yeah, he's
man.
right.
They're doing a Creed 2.
Yeah.
I'm excited. I like
He was
Creed 1.
huge, man.
I thought it was cool.
Creed 1 was great.
Yeah.
Same director.
Yes,
Yeah.
Coogler.
Yeah, same director.
Mhm.
He become well known.
It was hard for me to buy Michael B. Jordan only because of his lines. So I just didn't like the way he was.
Well, I mean, you
Creed
have
one.
to. I was actually going to say before to that point, you got to consider that Eric Killmonger in the comics is not from Wakanda.
Right.
He's from New York,
Mhm.
and he was raised in New York, so he wouldn't speak like a Wakandan would. Now, yeah, he spoke like he from Oakland.
Right.
He's talking,
I mean, he was-
the way
makes
he
sense. He was
was
raised in the
talking
hood.
about. He's talking about getting the scrimps and all that other stuff. But
Mhm.
but at the same
Hey,
time,
auntie.
he is
Yeah.
the way he's speaking is just where he's from,
Mhm.
how he was raised.
I guess they had
You know,
like that.
so
And he
that's
wasn't
why
too
that's
dramatic.
why
He
It was about the business.
He
was
wasn't
like, I'm taking over.
overselling
He wasn't
the
too
acting.
bad.
Yeah.
that's why he didn't have a Wakandan accent, and that's why it's more to relate to people who.
But
grew
he
up in
did when he
neighborhoods
spoke in
like that.
Wakandan in the throne room.
Well, that's him speaking
That's who he
Wakandan.
was,
yeah.
That's
He
him
did-
speaking
That's
Wakandan,
from
but
where that came out of.
but he didn't have the accent that everyone else had.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? So
It was cool. I liked it, man. I like seeing the African
Wait.
kingdom. I still want to see more action.
So, all right. So, everyone, let's go around and say what you thought was the best part of the movie.
Oh,
Best part.
I think
I'm
right
with
there
you, though.
I think I'm right there with you.
I think
Like,
I would
But
probably
let's
have
go
to
around,
say.
sir. Yeah. Think about it.
Who's first? I go first. I think I would
Right.
probably have to say maybe the car chase scene. Like I like when the princess, who's my new favorite Disney princess, by the way.
Yes,
What's her
she
name
is
again?
So technically, she is
Shuri.
a Disney princess now.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
hey,
yeah.
Marvel, Disney bought
gotta talk-
Marvel. Technically, you know what I mean?
The Disney princess.
I want to
Yeah,
see an
man.
animated feature about this chick now. You know
Hey,
what
that
I'm
would be dope.
Animated. Just do a live action movie. I'd like to see her and Tony Stark have a conversation.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
I want
Like,
to see
wow,
that.
that
I want to see that
ties
back
into
in the
the
day.
Yeah.
like when she hopped in that car and the car was made
It was
of.
like, did you-
It's a
They don't wanna do
hologram.
that,
the
though.
was it a
I did
hologram?
not see that. That's awesome.
It's not like Tony.
Whoa.
That's outdated here. Let me show you.
Like,
What, was it a hologram though, or was it physical?
No,
Because
it
looked,
hologram.
it
No, it was a
looked physical.
it was-
He picked up that car.
No, well, it was a hologram, but it was like a physical hologram because you remember when the car crashed,
But she was sitting in the
immediately
seat.
went
She
away and
dropped,
it
yeah.
dropped. She dropped to
In
the
the
ground.
But Tony doesn't sit on
That's cool.
holograms. Tony Stark doesn't sit on a hologram. He walks through it.
Probably could.
She
Well,
touched
he doesn't
that
have
thing.
to. He ain't got vibranium.
He didn't
Hey,
have vibra-
That's why I
It's
want to
that-
know
it's
more.
that
That's
Wakanda
what
technology.
I want to know more. Like, because he picked that car up and the map was still moving, and he set it back down and it was still moving. I was like,
that's basically.
it has to be vibranium infused into whatever they're sending the electric.
It might have had to do
Yeah.
something to do with that map that they were
Mhm.
using too, to
Yeah.
kind of like plan out their
Right.
heists. Like
I love when that dude Ross woke up and he was like, "Where the fuck am I?" You know what I mean? Like, hold on, I thought this was a third world country.
Yeah.
Don't
They
scare me
know
like
what
that,
it's
man.
doing.
colonizer.
Don't scare me like that,
Colonizer.
And
colonizer.
I also, real quick, I like how he took Michael B. Jordan up to the Black Panther opening at the end.
That
and
was my
showed him
favorite
the
part.
country. Yeah, I was like, that was awesome.
That was my favorite part. And Michael B. Jordan's line still was like he didn't want to live. They
I
could have
like how
killed
they
him,
threw that
and
in
it was
there.
like no,
Yeah.
like
I wanted him to heal him. I was like, heal
I
him.
want to die. I want to die just like our ancestors.
They
Right,
knew,
the
they
ocean.
knew death
Right.
was better
They
than
knew
bondage.
death was better than bondage.
It reminded me a little
Yeah,
bit
man.
of
That was my favorite
American
part.
Gods.
Although I didn't like the
Yeah.
delivery. I thought
Yeah.
the delivery was
Jones.
kind of lazy with it. Because my ancestors
That
knew.
was-
Yeah.
burn this boat down.
Yeah, burn
Yeah.
the boat
Dude,
down.
that was
My
Burn it all.
ancestors knew that
Jesus.
the death was better than. But I didn't like the delivery. I thought it was a little too hip hopish. You know what I mean? Like, just don't be hip
But
hop.
again, you just
But
got to
he
remember
grew
that's
up
where
in
he's
Oakland.
from.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
where he
yeah,
grew
you
up.
know, he's
I just
not,
wanted him to be like more.
It's hard to shake. It's
He's
I
hard
wanted
not
the
a
Merc
business.
side to come out.
It's hard to shake.
He's
it's
not
hard
a
to shake,
dramatic
like
person.
if you
Now,
come
do
from
you
a
see
certain
this?
place, it's hard to
This
shake
is
your
about to be.
accent.
This is about to be me and Juice's third glass of wine each, right? Hold on, Juice, let me finish this. This is where the arguments start. We're gonna start arguing after. I guarantee
Okay.
you, after this class, I'm gonna say
Okay.
something. Juice gonna be like, "Hold the fuck up." You
Yeah,
know
I'll
what I
be
mean?
like, I'm like, hey guys, calm down.
Wakanda.
Like your brother.
said you put that down.
So what was your favorite
So what
part?
about you?
No, that was my favorite part. The part at the end where he took him to the edge to see
Top of
this
the mountain.
to the Wakandan sunset, man. And he was just like,
because his father told him,
Wakanda bring you there.
The sunsets are Wakanda most beautiful in the world.
Also, so speaking of the astral plane, which we weren't, but still, about the astral plane thing, remember the differences between T'Challa's astral vision, where he saw his father's ancestors,
Right.
and Killmonger's astral vision, where he saw his father's death and his dead.
Although you
Like
did
where they
mention-
died, it's like where he died.
And where he died,
Yeah.
and how
That
much,
was interesting.
how that molded him. Like that scene, that setting molded him as a person, and you saw the lineage and the history.
You saw
That
all the
shows
Black
the
Panthers,
importance of history
Yeah.
for a people, right?
And I love how they
Yeah.
showed out
Like-
the window in that scene that he
It's
was
like,
still
don't
in the
forget.
astral plane.
Right,
He was just
right,
in
yeah,
his
you're
apartment, you know.
Yeah, it's like it's a matter of like don't forget where you come from.
Right,
Mhm.
because that change
That
that
was
that
that
has
message.
something to do with the power in you and your
It's a
your
we think like we thinking like this
existence.
is here like New York or where we born from, but there is a like you said, there's a much deeper lineage behind where we come from.
Yeah, it's where
Right.
it's where you come from. It's the last memory you have, or the last memory you have of like
That
Killmonger,
got me thinking.
where he got taken was like the last memory that he had of his
Yeah.
dad, like where he died. He found him dead.
And goddamn it, why didn't T'Chaka take him? Why didn't T'Chaka take him? That's his nephew.
No,
scared.
I didn't like that part. I was
That's
like, well,
fear.
why didn't you take him? I mean, you killed his brother. You didn't mean to, but you had to do it in reaction. But take his son. That's your family.
Because remember when Zuri said, and again, it has to do with where you're from, where you come from. Zuri said we had to maintain the lie. In that neighborhood, shit like that happens all the time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We had to maintain the lie, and I'm like, that's fucked up.
I didn't think
It
about
is
it in the
fucked up,
moment.
man.
I didn't think about it in the moment, but at the end,
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, why the hell didn't take him, man?
But
Y'all had a
I
whole
thought
kingdom.
he
Take
did.
him. That's your
It's kinda
family,
messed
man.
up.
He's royal blood.
But
Okay.
what would
I
he
thought
have?
he did.
What
The
would
thing
he
is,
have
the
been?
thing is that would have
Right.
exposed. The thing is like if he, in leaving him, that would have exposed Wakanda, like because he had like panther claws in him, like Killmonger said. He's
Yeah.
like,
Mhm.
I woke up to find. I
And
saw
why
him.
did
I
he
saw
leave his
panther
brother's
claws
body?
inside him. You know.
His brother's royalty too. Take his body.
But it's like,
That's what I was thinking. You should do.
Yeah.
but
body.
he didn't want his people to know that he had killed his brother.
Exactly.
Right, yeah,
that would
they
have
keep it
caused. That would have
secret.
caused rebel.
So again, it's like the weight of the crown.
because like the Dora,
right?
the Dora turned
Decisions
on
you have to make.
Killmonger. The Dora turned on Killmonger because Killmonger told Wakabi, attack this fool.
Mhm.
You know, like get all these ships in the air and go kill everyone and everything. And then the Dora was like, you are not fit to be a king.
Mhm.
Him doing that, killing his own brother, the Dora would have turned on him.
Yeah.
Wakanda would have been in revolt. There would have been no ruler. T'Challa was
They
too
could've-
young at the time.
like-
Probably not even born at the
He had
time,
to-
maybe.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
So-
he might not have been. Maybe.
T'Challa
he
T'Challa
was.
always talks about in the comic books. He always talks about the weight of the crown, like how the decisions he has to make
It's not always
to protect
yeah.
his people above all things. Like
It's hard being a king.
It's hard being
Hey,
king,
hey,
man.
it's hard
It may
being a
not be
king.
the right decision,
It's also hard
yeah.
being a president, but you don't give Trump no credit for that.
Man,
That's
it's
hard
like-
as shit. All right? You know I'm not. You know I'm a Trump defender.
So straight up.
Wakanda, fuck Trump.
It depends, like to being a king, being a king.
Trump ain't got no vibranium.
Oh yeah, they go.
He ain't got some
Yo, man,
I thought that was kind of dumb too, because the one dude wasn't even trying. He was just like, he was all bored, just
Nah, man, I
bobbing
loved
his shoulders.
all of that,
Heavy
though,
forearms.
man.
Yeah,
I
he
loved
was
all of
like-
that, though. It was like straight tradition. It was just
Yeah.
like everybody
Heavy wrist.
That was
Nah,
tight.
I like like you said.
I mean, Joe.
The weight of the crown.
Who didn't
It
know
co- it
T'Challa
co-
was going to lose when he fought Killmonger right there? We knew T'Challa.
we
was
knew
gonna
he was gonna
Yeah,
lose,
yeah,
but
yeah.
I still liked
Storyline.
it.
Yeah,
I still liked it because
Yeah.
if T'Challa,
They didn't
was
know.
like,
He didn't cut him.
They did not
if
know.
T'Challa was like, you know, gonna be like this dude, like Ip Man in an Ip Man movie where he runs through everybody. with no
He's
issue.
taking everybody the fuck out. That's
You know?
Jay's movie. Because Jay always talk about Ip Man.
Like, Ip
He
Man-
takes everybody the
Ip
fuck
Man,
out.
like he runs through everybody, and it's just like, yo, Ip Man is mad dope, but you know, it's boring.
It wouldn't work.
Ip
boring
Man,
to
Ip Man
watch
to grab
all
you
of
by your fucking pinky and fucking do some shit and take it out. Yeah,
You take a
He's like,
pinky,
stop
you be
hitting yourself. He's like, stop hitting yourself. You know, it's just like, but it's just like, to me, it gave T'Challa like humanity. Like
Mhm.
it made him more. It made him more
humble
relatable.
Yeah.
As a person, because he's able to lose, even though
He was
he had a
vulnerable.
handicap.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, he was vulnerable.
Exactly.
He wasn't
And
all
then-
powerful. He wasn't all powerful
in
like
the
Ray.
comics.
Right.
Like, so Killmonger whoops T'Challa's ass in the comics.
Yes.
So you got to know, like,
And-
look, if there's somebody who's gonna whoop his ass,
So Killmonger
It's him
just,
now.
But the thing is, T'Challa in the comics is no joke either. T'Challa
No, he's
took out,
not.
T'Challa took out the Fantastic Four by himself just because he
himself.
wanted to. Just
T'Challa-
because he wanted
the
to.
only other person who did that was Spider-Man.
T'Challa
Right?
took down the
Exactly.
goddamn rhino.
And T'Challa, I'm like,
It's just
well,
him.
Let's have a conversation about that too.
Yeah, right.
Just be like, yo, how did you do it? It's like, I just invited them out to Wakanda and I just whipped their ass single handedly. It's like, how did you do it? It's like, well, I went to their base. I went to their base and I whipped this dude up and the fire dude. He wasn't even an issue. He was just like, and the woman like, what?
Thank God that the girl got that flower and gave it to T'Challa, even though she wanted to give it to the monkey dude. So. Okay, so I'm glad she got that flower because I kind of would have liked to see T'Challa versus Killmonger without the flower. You know, like
that would have been
some
a
kind
hard
of
battle.
handicap.
Yeah, that would have been a hard battle. That would have been like
that would have really
handicap.
proved he was king.
Wait, T'Challa would have lost. Like the first 3 seconds.
So can he wield the power? Can he wield the power of the Black Panther suit without that flower?
The suit?
This is where I'm diving more into the suit.
The suit is just protection.
Yeah, the suit is just a suit.
The suit is just protection.
It's the heart-shaped herb.
But that suit that she made absorbs telekinetic energy, so that has to feed into his strength and his agility somehow.
No. That's just a bonus.
I mean, because the shoes that she made for him were shock absorbent and they absorb sound and they absorb energy. So I would think that would lead him to being able to jump higher and farther.
It's like,
we still have to have natural ability.
That's a heart-shaped herb.
Like I said, the suit though is like
it heightens his senses, his smell, his hearing, his vision. It heightens all of that.
I think what you're kind of thinking of is like the difference. The difference is like whereas his suit is just a suit. Think of like Batman Beyond's suit. It's just a regular guy. Oh my god, I love that show.
I love that.
But Batman Beyond's suit did everything for him. Increased the strength and the reflexes. It gave him computers out the ass in his headpiece. Flight, wings, all of that stuff.
So I think it's T'Challa kind of like Spider-Man.
Exactly.
He has the strength.
He has
already.
the natural abilities, but the
suit.
But the thing is, he has qualities. But the thing is, Spider-Man's suit doesn't enhance Spider-Man. Spider-Man is Spider-Man, but the thing is, T'Challa's suit just adds to his natural abilities.
Mm-hmm. So it's a set of things.
So nothing like T'Challa, he doesn't have any AI.
T'Challa isn't bulletproof.
No, not at all.
T'Challa's not bulletproof.
So why wouldn't
the suit is bulletproof?
Why wouldn't T'Challa have a kind of visor, like a Tony Stark thing? Okay, there's 14 heat signatures in this building right here. I'm going to attack from the south side.
They're different people. They're different people.
He distracting.
Tony has whole technology.
He does have a cool ass ship that probably does all that shit anyway.
And he also has Shuri, as backup. Shuri is the one talking to him. Okoye talks to him. They all communicate with each other. It's just like it's too distracting. They're two different people. Tony Stark is always airborne, so he needs to understand what's going on all around him at all times. T'Challa is on the ground. Where this dude, he can see everything that's happening.
Who would win in a fight right now? Iron Man or T'Challa?
T'Challa.
Come on, son.
That's why'd you even ask that question?
I don't even know. Iron Man has a Hulkbuster suit. I'm not saying Black Panther could take that thing down, but
all right,
Black Panther could take down the Hulkbuster suit.
All right, so think about it this way. Think about it this way: T'Challa versus Tony Stark.
We're talking two different technologies.
So I'm not talking about Tony Stark.
I'm talking about vibranium.
I'm talking about Iron Man versus Black Panther.
No, but I'm saying it's the same thing with Black Panther.
It's cars. It's like
the flower would make T'Challa kick Tony's ass. Like he already is
right.
But
he's
even
without
the heart, I think T'Challa kick his ass. I'm talking about Iron Man versus Black Panther.
We talking about Iron Man versus Black Panther? I mean, Black Panther has vibranium in his suit. That's the strongest metal known. Iron Man,
the whole bunch of armor is gonna punch Black Panther's suit. He's gonna absorb all of that shit.
But by that premise, you're saying the Hulk can do that, and I think the Hulk would tear fucking.
The Hulk still feeds off.
So you're saying wait. So you're saying because of vibranium, Black Panther is the most powerful superhero in the universe?
No,
not the universe. Because Captain Marvel couldn't do that shit.
But you're talking about Iron Man. You're talking about Iron Man.
But
he's just a man in a suit. He's a man in an iron suit.
But he can
iron is not as strong as vibranium.
Iron Man can call in an extra arm from a satellite that he has floating. You know what I mean? Like he can
call
in a give me an arm.
That's fine.
Send down 3 now because you're gonna need them.
Send me 3 arms because
3 arms.
And you do know that this technically already happened. That Black Panther took out several members of the Avengers before Cap was like, stop this right now.
Was that in
I knew your
Civil
father. No, not in Civil War, in the comics.
There is this one.
I knew your father was cool. You better stop this shit.
This is one scene. Is that the scene where Black Panther just is like smacks Tony Stark in the lips?
Yeah, man.
Pull your shit together.
But then it's like even Captain America is so impressed with Black Panther that Captain America hand selected Black Panther. He invited Black Panther to join the Avengers legitimately. And you know how Black Panther is. He's like, If it
Captain
calls
America-
for it. If
Dude.
it calls for it, I'll be there. But if not, nah.
Captain
I'm good.
America better be in there. He better invite Black Panther. I mean, this is one of the most countries
What was that fight
and
between
richest people in the fucking
Cap
world.
and Black Panther in the
Civil War.
Civil War?
Yeah.
Yes,
Mhm.
right, son. That's kind of like a stalemate.
They
too.
were. There was a stalemate. There was a stalemate. They weren't.
That was a stalemate.
The
son.
only reason, like anything even happened is because some other motherfucker was like distracting either of them. Spider-Man distracting Captain America, Hawkeye distracting Black Panther. It's like, damn it, we want to fight each other,
Right.
Okay,
You know?
last gripe with the movie. Last gripe.
I'm listening.
Maybe not the last, but did it bother anybody else how his fucking helmet kept coming off at the end? Like how he kept he'd get hit and fall to the ground. His helmet would transform off.
So
Yeah.
I think that's a Hollywood.
It's a
thing.
director.
That's a Hollywood thing.
They want to see his face
They
emoting.
need
They,
to
they,
face
they
time.
did the same. They did the same thing in
Iron Man.
Because
they did
Tony
Iron
Stark.
Man.
Tony Stark always is
We
like,
don't need to.
yeah,
They did the same
and
thing with
we
Killmonger.
also
His
don't need
helmet
to
kept
see
coming off.
him. We also don't need to see his HUD, his hood display inside when he's inside the
Right.
suit. Like we don't need to see that.
But
We
still,
know
it
he's in
can
there.
bother me a
You
little
know?
bit.
That money though. That
right.
paycheck.
FaceTime is money, son.
It took me out of the scene a little bit when they kept doing that. Because they did it at least 5 or 6
It
times
also shows
at the end.
vulnerability again, though.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
That's true.
And plus
That's
that
true.
electromagnetic pulse was going through, so you can kind of escape
It,
it a little bit. But it got on my nerves.
It's definitely a Hollywood thing because if you remember the Power Rangers movie, the reboot movie, like when they were in the Zords, I'm not sure if you saw it, but when they were in the Zords, they
was a good
for some
movie.
reason they had the
Their
face
face
was
was
showing. It gives them more vulnerability,
No,
more
it's
humanity.
They did the
for
same thing with
audiences to
Kylo Ren.
relate.
They made him destroy his helmet. You know, you can't see a good looking actor inside a helmet.
Spider-Man took his helmet off. He took his mask off so many times. I'm like, put your goddamn mask
People
on,
can
Parker.
Yeah, right? Like,
Is
you're
anybody
trying to hide your
excited?
identity, right? We're on the same page?
Did y'all see the
Hide your
preview
face.
in there for Pacific Rim? Too.
Oh, yeah, it is.
I'm like, that joke
Yeah,
was so
it is.
tight, man. God damn it, that joke was
And then
so tight.
they got the fucking mechs fighting each other.
Dude, did they show?
Yo,
they
that
showed
looks
like
really
a whole
good.
fight.
That looks really good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it did
Yeah, it was like a whole fight almost.
That looks,
like,
that
damn,
looks
this
really
shit
good
looks
because
fucking
it looks like something out of Evangelion.
Yeah,
like
it
the two
does.
mechs fighting each other. I'm like, that's the part I'm looking most forward to. I'm like,
Yeah,
yo,
I can't
a
wait
mech
to see
fighting
that.
another mech.
But it's going to suck. Because
Oh, I know it's gonna suck.
Because
Rim.
Hollywood sequel. Because Hollywood
Okay.
sequel is going to suck.
I know it's
But
gonna suck.
I'm still
They don't
excited.
have
I'm
this.
going to watch it.
You could clearly see they don't have the same vision as the first movie.
Yeah.
They do
Mhm.
not have it. So
And they also don't have Idris Elba.
I hope it doesn't suck.
or Guillermo del
It looks so
Toro.
cool.
Or See, that's the problem.
Guillermo del
He's
Toro
not in
does
this.
it?
No, he's not directing. No, so.
See, now I
Oh,
don't
well,
like
yeah, they
that.
fucked up.
Yeah.
Because I like Guillermo del Toro, man.
I do
He
too.
did
I saw Shape of Water.
Mhm.
I haven't seen it yet. I heard it was great.
Is it romance?
Yeah, I'm fine with
Shit, son.
that.
I like that shit, son. Like, I was like, damn.
Like
Okay.
visually, he's a cool director. He did this
Romance
movie
Man.
called
It was romance,
Pan's
but
Labyrinth.
dude,
Pan's
Romance.
Labyrinth. Yeah.
but the
Good
man,
The romance.
it's Beauty and the Beast, man, with the fish dude.
He did both Hellboy and Blade 2.
Yeah, Hellboy was great. Hellboy 2 was
Hellboy,
great.
man.
I like
Yeah,
Hellboy.
and we
Yeah.
should say as an
Blade
honorable
2 was
mention,
great,
Yeah, I
son.
like
we
it.
should
Blade 2
say
is still the
dope.
best one.
I agree.
I don't know if it's better
I
than the
agree.
first one. Only because like
Which
the
one?
first
The
was like a
monsters
game
were
changer.
better, dude.
And we
Like,
should
the
mention,
designs.
goddamn it, as just a point of reference that T'Challa is not the first black superhero that we've had on the goddamn big screen. Okay, Wesley Snipes,
Blade.
Blade was
agreed.
there first. All right,
Agreed.
years ago.
No,
And Blade was cool.
Nobody
So
said
we
that.
know-
Blade was cool,
this.
but they did have the token black girl who was in trouble who had to be saved, and it was a 98% white cast.
We
Okay,
know,
so fine,
we know
all right,
this.
fine, I get
We
it.
know this, but I mean, like that's still good.
But
That's
Blade was
fine.
tight.
We love
That's
Blade.
fine.
That was a good movie.
That's fine. It's just
We're
that
not
Black
comparing
Panther. Black Panther. This is like almost comparing like apples and Granny Smith apples. Like Black Panther, there's obviously a better apple than the other.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You know,
Black Panther was
Black
tight.
Panther on this level, Blade cannot compare. Blade happened to be first.
What was a
but
better
Blade cannot
movie? What was a
compare.
better
But
movie?
what if
Blade
Blade
2?
went to Wakanda?
Yo!
I'm excited.
Wakanda!
Oh snap! Wow. I just got excited off that shit.
Yo, I just got some
Yeah.
chills right now.
I want to see a Blade.
I want to see
Black
Blade
Panther
going to
crossover.
Wakanda.
Yeah.
What?
Why the fuck don't they do that? This should have been in production already.
I don't know.
That might already be in play.
It might.
And bring Wesley Snipes back. I'll be okay
How-
with
but
that
how
still.
How can they do something like that with Blade based on where
He's a vampire?
Yeah, we're dealing with folks from Africa. They were a whole different scene. He's talking about Blade.
Blade gonna come out there with Black Panther like, no, you gonna fuck me now? You gonna fuck this? You know what I mean? Like that. Remember he was about to kill the dude who was it? Yeah, he was like, where was it going? He said, fuck you. Fuck me now, you fuck this. He's about to shoot that mother. He's gonna fuck this. I'm like, oh shit.
Hey,
The girl stopped him.
Blade is so good.
Yeah, Blade was hard.
Wait,
Yeah,
actually, I got a question for you though.
Wake up.
So you like Blade, but the thing is, like, Blade was kind of the same as like Killmonger with the delivery. Like, you didn't have a
It
problem
was
with that.
kind of cheesy. I forgave it because of the prosthetics of his vampire teeth. You know what I mean? So he had to,
Oh yeah.
you know, he had that
you
kind
get
of-
away with
he
anything
was still,
with
he was still,
fangs.
but I mean, he was still like,
No.
as you put it, like
It was
the whole
believable.
hip-hoppy,
It was believable
like the
all the way up to
hip-hop
Blade
Also
3.
the time, the 90s.
Yeah, like,
And all
But
the
then
way
the
we were
time
younger.
frame was gonna
Blade
come
3,
back,
they
yeah.
went overboard with the hip hop and shit. I was
Oh,
like,
yeah,
Blade 3
nah.
was kind of like,
We don't
oh,
talk
God.
about
I
that.
didn't even see Blade.
Trinity?
What? It was still worth seeing.
I just tired.
I have it. It's over there. I just haven't. Watched
It wasn't that good.
No, it's
I like
not.
it.
It's not worth seeing.
I like the soundtrack.
Yeah, the soundtrack was cool.
But I mean, it's kind of the same thing though. It's just like for its time, that was like what was
It was hip hop,
appropriate.
yeah.
But I mean, you could also argue that Blade's speech was real stereotypical. It's like, you know, he's a vampire hunter, but he's talking about like, you know, he's like, damn, he's like, oh, that shit was hot. I'm like,
You're 400 years old.
right? You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
saying that.
And I'm like, it's like these motherfuckers always trying to ice skate uphill, and I'm like,
Some motherfucker. That shit was cool.
I didn't like that.
Because then he
I
filled
did like
his glass bottle up and
the
kicked
line
that shit
was
to his
cool.
forehead.
The line was cool. That part after that was cool, but I'm just like,
Some motherfuckers always
trying
trying
to
to ice skate uphill.
uphill.
Yeah, that shit was
they
tight.
threw the viral and the tornado kick to it, and it's like, oh, shit is hot. But I'm just like, the line right before it, I'm like,
What was the cheesiest line? in the movie?
Yeah, I know this is a joke, but I kind of wish vampires had really outdated speeches.
like
Literally
Hitler
400 years
Because they've been
old.
around for like
What
Yeah.
thou doeth in my castle?
It's just like, you know what?
In mine
I would
abode.
believe that. I'm like, you know what?
Come
Come hither!
Come hither!
What whilst?
Whilst thou stunneth my throateth.
Yeah, man. But
I shall bite
now,
you.
it was just a question. I was just being devil's advocate. I just wanted to know,
Yeah.
like,
Oh,
you had
I
a problem
stayed
with
devil's
Killmonger's
advocate.
speech,
Yeah.
but like Blade's speech, you
But
like
Killmonger,
Blade, but
like,
Blade was
I, for his aspirations in the movie, he was aspiring to be king, and he won the challenge, right? Which is another reason I didn't like how
He
the guy
said-
didn't want to accept the challenge. If T'Challa's there, damn it, you honor the challenge. You're a Wakandan, okay? You're a Wakandan leader.
Nah, I see your point
so-
with you with that. Yeah. I see
Wait,
your
So-
point
so
with that.
every-
Did he turn it
Wakanda-
down? I don't remember.
And
Technically,
He decided to
yeah,
attack.
ignored it.
Yeah,
He decided to
ignored it.
attack. Yeah,
He
like
ignored it.
honor the challenge,
That's
man.
Yeah, he
never
ignored
it at all.
Yeah,
But
he ignored
so every Wakandan tribe, because you remember they said was it 3 or 4 or 5 tribes?
5.
Get added together to make Wakanda. So every tribe has a leader. So does every tribe have a target animal? Like they had the rhinoceros, then the gorilla group. So then they had the Black Panther.
they
They have a god.
So the
Right.
Panther
Oh,
god,
yeah.
the Panther god Vast lies over all of Wakanda. They
Okay.
all worship Vast, but they have like, you know, the
Did we see
ape,
the other-
like the ape tribe? Then they have the rhinoceros tribe. But
Did we see the other tribes?
Yeah, we saw all of
They
them.
were
We
all
saw
at
all
the-
of them in
Okay,
the
okay,
ceremony.
yeah, yeah.
But one of the tribes is the
Oh,
river tribe.
actually, I have a
Yeah.
breakdown of
It's not
that.
an animal. It's just water.
Mhm.
And that was Nakia's tribe, but she's
Okay.
not from there. So it depends.
Mhm.
It depends.
You know
So
that-
I heard there was a tribe that watches over the water. There's the mining tribe, which is the people in red.
Who
Then they have
responsible
the,
for the
And then there was like the protectorate tribe,
Right, the
like
borderland
the
tribe,
border
Wakabi
patrol
border,
tribe.
that's
And then there was the Jabari tribe, which was
Jabari.
the ape tribe, and then there was
Who
the
are the
rhinoceros
troublemakers.
tribe, and then there's the Panther god, the Black Panther, the Panther god.
Vast.
They all is vast. It's all
That's a
all over
royalty.
Wakanda.
and yeah.
It's all Wakanda.
And when the rhinoceros guy pulled out his sword and it like lit up somehow, I was like, damn it, that's why I wanted to see more of the technology.
Vibranium,
What the
man.
fuck was that sword?
But again,
What did he do to it?
But I think the questions that you're asking is like what they want like you to ask, like what they want to inspire people to like. How did that happen?
Mm.
Or
Can
like,
we make
like
that?
Yeah, they,
No,
maybe they
no,
left
no,
some holes
and
purposely.
that's part of
Yeah.
the
To
ending.
make
It's
you
like,
ask those questions.
what can you guys offer?
Exactly.
What can you
Especially
offer?
the post-credit
And
scene.
he was
What
like,
can,
you know
what can Wakanda offer us?
Like, well, let me show
And then
you.
everybody smiles, and I'm
I like
like,
that scene. Yeah.
Black Panther.
I was like, when I saw that, I was like, they should just had the ship appear in the moon. Just
Right.
Like,
They
big ass
should
ship,
just
like,
had that
Like this has been floating over. It's like this has been floating over your head
the whole time.
and you didn't
How do you
even
think
know
we got
about
here?
it.
How do you think we got here?
You
We
know,
just flew into the ceiling.
but I thought the scene at the end of the movie itself was also very poignant when the kid asked like T'Challa like, is that yours? And he's like, yeah. He's like, who are you? And then he smiles.
Right,
And I'm
I
like,
like
Black
that
Panther! I'm like, yeah!
I'll say it was kind of
That was so much impact on me, man.
I like that scene. The scene before that, I thought was kind of cheesy. We're like, yo, man, we could strip this for, like,
Right,
yeah.
I didn't like how the thing landed in the parking lot.
But
It
you
was
have
like
to understand.
No,
Yeah, it was relevant.
The shit landed in a
I
parking
get it.
lot.
I get it. It just, I was just like,
Yeah.
Oh, man, come on, man.
I was like,
No, you landed
I
you
got
landed
it.
that shit in the middle of the parking lot.
Why you gotta be in
Had
there?
to strip your arm, man.
We should sell it on eBay. And I'm
It
like,
was funny.
God.
I liked it.
Yeah, it was funny, but it's like, God.
Cause you see that damn shit, that's what you're gonna think. Damn, I could get a lot of money for that
I was like, yo, I can drive that shit.
I was like, yo, you put some rims
I'll
on
whip the
that.
shit on
But
that.
again, it's
windows on
relevant.
that joke,
It's
man.
relevant because the kids grew up in that neighborhood,
Yeah.
in that setting. That's
was
just how they act. But then I like that they separated the one kid. The one kid's like, what?
Yeah.
And he wasn't the one like, yo, look at that shit. Yo, those thrusters though.
Mhm.
It was like that.
You know, but it's
It was
like
just watching.
he walked
Yeah.
over. He walked over
Is
to
that yours?
T'Challa. Everybody else didn't even notice him. He walked over. He's like, "Is that yours?" And he's like, "Yeah." He's like, "Who are you?" And he's like,
I like that too. I thought that was a good way to end the
you know,
movie.
and I'm like,
Yeah, I like
Like
and
that.
I'm like, that. And again, that to me, man,
Where do these drums come
it
from?
got me right here. That to me, man, it got me right here,
Me
man.
too,
I'm
yo.
like, yo,
I
this is
felt that
dope.
shit. I gotta see that shit again, man. I've been telling Claudine all
so back
week.
to the
I
topic.
need to
then.
watch it again.
Was that your favorite scene?
Oh man,
What was your favorite scene?
isn't it your turn?
I mean, you were already talking about something.
Oh, I had so many favorite parts. Favorite scene?
Favorite
Oh.
part. Then favorite part.
You know what?
Hang on,
You know what my favorite part was?
Can I get a quick counter real
Yeah.
quick? How long we been going on Black Panther? I said it was gonna be an hour. Anybody want to take
hour
that?
15?
Oh, okay. I told you it's gonna be over an hour. We're talking about Black Panther. So go ahead. I'm sorry.
Nah, it's cool. Man, my favorite part, I think my favorite part. It's hard. Okay, my favorite part, honestly, was the part where T'Challa, when Killmonger brings Claw to the border, and then they tie him up and they walk him into the royal chamber,
Yeah.
and then Killmonger was just like, yo. Killmonger was just straight up he walked right in there and he just owned the place, and T'Challa got up. He's like, I'm not having this. He walks right up to him, and then they have that discussion, and you saw both of their sides. I really loved that part.
I like that.
That was
I
a
loved
powerful.
that.
It was a
Super
powerful scene.
You really paid attention to what they were saying, and I was just like, wow, this is acting, acting. So
With the skull.
yeah, for real.
Yeah, holding it.
that was really powerful to me, and it was just and it also showcased that T'Challa never backs down from a challenge.
Yeah.
Even before M'Baku
Even when he's
in the
looking up
beginning.
to Michael B. Jordan.
Yeah, right. Michael B. Yeah, Chadwick Boseman was
Michael
kind
B.
of
Jordan
short.
was fucking huge.
Michael B. Jordan's only 6 feet tall.
Mhm.
He's
But
only
you saw
6
that Creed training, man. He was just fucking
Yeah,
thick.
but he was.
Yeah, he was thick as hell, man.
But T'Challa never backs down. Even when M'Baku in the beginning, he never, even before he finished his statement, he's like, I accept your challenge. And then even Ramonda was just like, don't do this, T'Challa. And T'Challa's like, I accept your challenge. And I'm like, man, you don't know this dude from a hole in the wall. He could fucking kill you.
But he has to accept the challenge. He's king.
Yeah.
You have to.
And when he revealed that he had the tattoo and that he was
Of
of
royal
royal lineage,
In Jadaka.
Which
He had
makes me
to.
mad that they didn't take him with them. He was royal lineage, man.
Yeah.
He was your nephew.
But as you
Go
said,
get his
thing,
maintaining the lie, that's what
let me
He
say
said.
one thing
Right.
about the
Yes.
movie is that
And maybe that's
I
why
did
T'Challa
like-
was so mad at his dad because he didn't
Yeah,
get the
that's
kid.
of course
Like,
he
yo,
was
that
mad.
was family. You should have
Of
gotten him.
course he was mad. He's like, he told him, it's like, if anything, he should have been, should
Yeah.
have been me.
He should have
He
been
should
here
have
with
been
us.
here.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Because
All right, they should at least fought for it. They should have
been.
been. Yeah.
Like, he should have been here. He could have been me. He could have been the Black Panther
It was
right now.
Loki in that jump.
You know?
But so when I think about it, I have to say this point. Like, I did like the fact that the traditional older actors, the black actors, like
Forrest Whitaker.
Forrest Whitaker and
Angela Bassett.
Which way did Forrest
they
Whitaker
didn't
come?
they didn't overpower the rest of the movie.
It was hard for me to.
They weren't overdoing it. They weren't overdoing it.
It was
Because that
hard
was
for
my
me.
worry.
They were-
I was
they
worried
were-
that they were going to be like,
They blended in real
I need this much screen time because I'm an established actor and
They-
whatever.
Forrest
I'm
Whitaker
glad they
can do
didn't.
anything he wants, but it was hard for me to take Angela Bassett's African voice seriously. When you
Oh,
know how she
man.
talks.
She's
It was hard. I was just like,
She's diverse though.
she is diverse, but
Yeah,
you've
she's
seen
good.
her in other
She's
movies.
a good
and you know
actress.
she doesn't
Like
talk
she's
like that. You
she's a
kinda-
legitimately good actress.
She is.
I've seen
She
her
knows
in
how to do it.
great roles.
I think like
I love the white dread.
Tina?
When they showed her outside of the
I
headpiece,
saw
she
that. I
had
was
the
like,
white
dang.
dread. I was
I
like,
like
damn.
that too. Yeah, it's a good look for her.
Sexy, man.
Yeah,
It's a good look for her. I think honestly, like again, one of my favorite parts of the movie was like more of the people, like the women.
Yeah.
The women, I just want to say for the record, they fucking killed it.
They did, man.
They fucking killed it. Angela Bassett, Ramonda, Okoye, Nakia, Shuri. Shuri is gonna fucking change everything.
Yeah.
You know, she's gonna
That's
fucking
his sister?
change. Yes, his little sister. She's gonna fucking change everything.
Right?
Letitia Wright.
You're right. I would love
She's
to see
gonna
her in a conversation with Tony Stark.
Oh yeah.
Like, what the hell
She's
can
gonna
y'all
be-
divulge?
She can teach him something.
Right.
She portrayed a person of color who is super intelligent and capable.
Yes.
You know,
Damn,
and
sure,
young,
capable.
And pretty.
and she's really young.
Gorgeous.
She's
You know?
young. That's what
She's
they
super young.
Did y'all buy her
She's
at the
basically
end?
like a STEM student, like a typical STEM student.
You're
Like,
right.
Exactly
Did y'all
what
buy
she
her
is.
at the end out there in the field fighting warriors though?
with the
Yeah.
with the
Yeah.
Panther blasters.
Maybe with the Panther
Yes.
blasters, but at the end of that
I want
fight, she was
Panther
doing
blasters.
hand-to-hand combat. Those
Well,
things
I
got
mean-
broken. Black Killmonger broke those
that's
things.
That's one of those things I think that they were.
I just
kind of
didn't buy that a little bit. I was like, she
I
should
think
be
they were
leaning
trying
more on
to-
the technology
I think
side
they were
of it.
trying to nod to comics with that because Shuri is actually supposed to be the next Black Panther.
She is a black.
And you would figure she
she's
has some kind of training,
and
yeah.
she's trained.
She's
so
royal
you
blood.
just assume that she has some kind
Right.
of training. That's all it is.
So just like we have to assume about Leia that she knew about the Force because she's in the
Oh
same
my
family.
god! But the way it ended.
Dude.
I'm not going to get back into this with Juice. We already talked
Her son was trained by Luke. I'm just
Okay,
saying.
trained being the
He
operative
didn't say
word.
nothing to her.
Trained
He,
being
he,
the operative
he wasn't
word.
like, hey,
glass.
maybe if you think like this, this happens.
Trained
Just
being
saying.
the operative word. You can't just force
I
reach
think it's
and
all-
pull
I
yourself
think
back
it's-
into a ship
I
and
think
don't
it
train.
comes down to man focus.
Yeah.
Princess.
Prince like a song. Princess stop.
Princess style.
But yeah, that's the
Princess style. Princess style.
Oh, and so I was also one last thing.
Panther
So I was
style.
watching Notes on a Scene with Ryan Coogler. So he was breaking down the action scene in the casino. Did you see that?
I did see that.
Yo,
joke,
there
man.
were some really cool things in there that I had no idea. Like the Pan-African flag is red, black, and green,
Which were their colors.
which were the colors that they were wearing. And you notice in the way they were walking,
Mhm.
they were walking in
I'm
a
buzzing.
pattern that
Good
represented. And I was just like,
Yeah.
I love that
It's
scene at the
amazing.
end where he had that little scarf thing on the side. It just wasn't, he was looking clean with the black suit, but he had
Yeah.
that scarf thing on the
Yeah.
side. I was like, I just love that look,
To
man. I was
set
like,
it
that shit
off,
looks
yeah.
tight.
I
Yeah.
love that was
That shit
amazing.
looks fucking cool.
I mean,
I love that was
Yeah.
that was also a Ghanaian scarf work.
Oh, word.
Okay, one more break.
So I'm gonna. But let me just ask though. So this had an impact. So they. I was listening to NPR and they were talking about how they showed it in Kenya, right?
Yeah.
So they had some people. They were asking people, "What do you think about the movie?" And a lot of the people they loved it and how they were like, "Oh, well, this." And it was weird hearing Kenyans in the country as developed as Kenya is in the parts, how much they felt inspired by this movie. So Kenya is one of the countries in Africa which is really advanced.
It's one of the most developed.
It's
Yeah.
the most developed countries, right? So they have like massive cities. It's a beautiful place. But a lot of the people in the country were saying like, "Oh yeah, I felt." One lady said, "I felt inspired. I felt like I could do anything." So it makes me wonder, like, what do you guys think? Like we being African Americans for the most part, and then you think like, so what do you think like African people in the continent felt
thinking
from
about
this movie? You know what I'm saying?
I think, like Frank said, a sense of pride. Like, your country, even though it's a fictional land, was
It's being
put on
represented.
display and
Yeah.
represented.
Representation, man. That's what it matters.
Especially in a place like Hollywood. We went to the Black History Museum a little while ago, and I told you the
Oh,
section
nice.
that really kind of pissed me off was the blackface section where they showed how they used to portray black people.
Blackface,
Yeah, when you have a white guy.
Yeah.
And black people do that all the time. Look at the movie like White Girls, right? Like
Yeah.
they did the white face thing, you know what I mean? Dressed up
Yeah.
as white
Yeah.
girls.
Who is hilarious.
That's
It
only
was
fair.
funny.
That's only fair.
And they said, "Da-na-na-na-na-na-na. I need you. Da-na-na-na-na-na."
Yo, especially when you listen to the song in the car with the girls. I'm like, oh
that's
my god.
funny as hell.
He's like, you can't say that word. He's like, why not? He's like, that's bad against black people. It's like, there's no black people here. And then it's like, yo, realist nigga. 50 Cent and B.I.G. man.
That movie was
And
funny
I'm
as
like,
shit.
yo, all these girls. I'm like, what the fuck?
But yeah, I mean, the blackface thing kind of pissed me off. But it was proud, man. Like, you saw this, you saw these people on screen that look like you. And I sent the article to the group earlier. It was just like, if you don't like Black Panther, you're stupid and crazy or whatever. And the guy made a good point in that.
Ben
He was
Shapiro.
like, everybody wants to see
Yeah,
somebody that
pure.
looks like them. You know, Asians want to see Asians on
Yes.
screen. Blacks want to see blacks.
White
And in
Latino.
an industry like Hollywood, where you don't have up to this point really any movies that are predominantly black, and you always have the black actors portrayed in a certain light, this is exciting and whatever else it could be for black people because of the fact that they see people that look like them. You know
Unless
what I mean?
you can watch
look like
Nollywood
me.
movies. I can't watch
Say what?
Nollywood movies. Nollywood movies?
Oh no, I can't watch those
Bollywood
movies.
and shit.
I can't watch Nollywood.
I can't
Those
watch those
Nigerian
movies.
Hollywood movies.
Yeah, there's also like
can't
there's
do
also
those
like
African
Ghana,
jokes.
there's
It's
also
kinda
like
crazy,
Ghana,
though, yeah.
Ghana Hollywood movies.
Really?
They're horrible.
I can't do
I
it,
can't
man.
watch them.
I tried
They're
to.
terrible.
That's because the production is whack on those.
Yeah, the production
Production's
is
terrible.
whack. It's hard.
I didn't want to go that far, Frank. But you made me go that far. He said, that shit just was whack. I was just going to say it's bad. Shit.
No, it's true. It's whack.
That shit is whack, man.
That shit is pretty
I
whack.
need some vibranium.
For real. They need vibranium
You need
camera.
that meteorite to crash down
Right,
there.
right
Just like
there.
give them resources because
Yeah.
show them how to film something.
Okay, another gripe with the movie. Last gripe, I promise. Was the action kind of choppy to anybody? I didn't like the action. Like, I thought, like,
When
the
they were
hand-to-hand
falling through the scene, fighting, when they were falling through the air into the mine.
Yeah, but the way they were cutting it and the way it was chopping, I was like, it's hard to follow. I was like, well, what?
I think it's because a lot of them they just didn't know how to fight in real life, so it's hard to choreograph.
Yeah, exactly. And you
That's
need
why-
actors that can
that's why-
act without.
So when you're talking about the physical action, like
Right,
or,
like the
or you're talking
hand-to-hand
about the
combat.
editing.
A lot-
You-
no,
Maybe the editing as well.
Both.
Okay.
Yeah, I
so-
think they kind of.
But
I'll
it's
put you on that
It's
one. That was
strategic
mine
though
too.
because they're not fighters. Like if you look
They're
at
not.
like
Yeah.
martial art movies and stuff, they actually know or they have backgrounds in that.
I
So
mean,
it's
yeah,
much
not everybody
easier.
can be Tony Jaa.
So
Yeah.
of course,
Maybe some stunt doubles would have
of
been
course,
more
that's why they
useful
want
in
to
the
they want
fight
to chop it
scenes.
up.
Yeah.
Well, the thing, I mean, you're right,
It
but
also
at the same
prolongs the
time,
action.
it makes it again. We want to see kind of like the face of the movie, like the face of this movie, like more predominant. So, like the woman killed it with the fight scenes. I thought, like
She had a good scene in
Okoye,
the casino.
that scene was dope.
Yeah,
with
she was-
her.
And Killmonger and Black Panther did have a nice hand-to-hand exchange right towards the
At
end
the
of
very
that fight.
end,
Yeah,
the very
end
end,
of that
yeah,
fight, they did have a nice little
they had a nice
hand-to-hand.
little exchange. But
Mhm.
again, I think that was like CGI, but it was mocap. But in any case, I agree with you on that.
Mhm.
I think in Civil War, Black Panther T'Challa had much more of a better fighter presence
I mean,
in
you could
Civil
see he
War.
was-
Yeah,
Like,
the stunt
double
especially
trained.
that part when Winter Soldier was taking on Team Iron Man by himself because he was brainwashed.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yo, that part was dope.
Yeah.
But when
He
Black
came through.
Panther came on the scene, you knew the fight was gonna end there. And I'm like, yo, this dude.
Man, watch you say it
Like
again.
he had some nice kicks.
Mhm.
You know, he was leaping from banisters, and I'm like, this is dope. You know,
Now-
so
now
I
it
expected
explains
more
why,
of
'cause he had
that.
flower in
But
it.
I think the reason for that
Might be
is
a director
because of the second unit,
Mhm.
different second unit.
Yeah.
So they didn't have the same second unit as Civil War,
Yeah.
which is why the
Or
fights
even the
weren't-
production budget to get the fights
weren't as-
right.
Right,
You
the
know,
fights
yeah.
weren't as crisp
Yeah.
as in Civil War. Like Civil War's second unit were the freaking people who directed John Wick
Mhm.
and John
Oh,
Wick
yeah,
too.
was fucking
Oh,
tight.
word.
So-
Oh, well, that explains it.
Yeah.
Like,
They're-
damn. Like, y'all had to do.
They
Y'all
were,
got to do
they
it
were the
yourself.
team. They were the team. They went
They
from the
told the
second
actors-
unit to being the directors
Uh-huh.
of John Wick, and I'm like,
Mhm.
oh, okay. You know, so the action was crisp and tight in Civil
Yeah.
War, whereas different second unit. So it's like,
Yeah, yeah.
you know, different ideas for choreography.
Yeah, holla at me, man. I'll go
But
for that joint for
I
free.
do appreciate though that like T'Challa had like a signature
man,
move
Mhm.
that he kept using. Even when he was being challenged,
Mhm.
and when he was like in the casino, or when he was fighting Killmonger, he used it every time, and I liked it as a signature move that he did.
And I thought they
What was
fought.
it? I didn't miss
It was like it's weird, man. It's
It was
almost
like
like
that little leg choke.
it's almost like a male Luigi Compasso, but
Oh, yeah, yeah.
sticking straight out.
Yeah,
It's like
yeah,
sticking
yeah.
straight out instead of like going around.
Okay, yeah,
So,
yeah,
yeah,
I do
man.
remember that jump.
So he did it in Civil War.
That
So I
back
think
kick
they were
jump.
like, that's a signature move. So we're gonna keep that and put it in here. So
I think
So,
they
yeah.
masked a lot of the choreography by having them fight in water. Like,
Yeah,
you know,
yes.
that helps hide some of the moves. But he did
Yeah.
have that one
It
move
also
where
makes
he
it
like,
harder to move.
yeah,
when
it
you
does.
when you're fighting
Yeah,
knee
but
deep
yeah,
water,
yeah,
it's
but-
hard
yeah.
to move in that shit.
Yeah,
When you're
that's
moving,
true,
Like
that's
it's
true.
hard. Like
That
try
is true.
kicking from knee deep
I
water.
love that scene though, how they like emptied out the fucking waterfall and everybody stood on the
like
waterfall
it.
to watch
Oh,
the
yeah, man.
challenge.
I
and
like
shit.
it.
Yeah, that was visually that was
I like
fucking
it.
awesome.
and I like
And then when he fell,
I like something that Killmonger said.
See, he
too.
got thrown off there. He ain't fall. He got thrown
Yeah,
off that
he did.
motherfucker.
I like that.
Like, why did Killmonger come in and be so dominant? Like, why was he so dominant from the jump? Like,
That's just who
they
he
brought
is.
him in the throne room handcuffed.
Like you said,
and he was
yeah,
dominant.
It's his training.
Yeah, he's a mercenary.
His training,
He's
like,
been killing.
Which is
If every one of those was a kill, he fought some of them.
He said
He's still alive.
he made a goal for himself. That's his training. He made a goal for himself, and he took his goal. He got his goal.
And I love how
He
they
wanted to go. He
explain
wanted
that.
to run right into Wakanda and become king, and he did.
I love how
In
Ross
hours.
explained that. Was like,
Matter
he's
of
a
a day.
mercenary. They're trained to take out your natural resources.
Yeah,
and,
that's
you
true.
know, whatever makes you strong. So as soon as he got that flower, he was like, burn that shit.
Burned those.
Yeah.
You know,
Nobody
I
else
like
can
how they
challenge
explain
him.
that.
As soon as he was like, all right, this is the king. I want to become the king. So kill the king.
So-
I'm the king now.
So I guess that means you don't have to continually ingest it. You just take it once and you
Yeah.
have the power.
Yeah, but then you also, you continually ingest it if you get challenged.
So do you get stronger if you continually ingest?
So, question. I don't know if you
No,
know.
I don't think so.
Right.
I don't think so.
What if you just take two?
No,
right.
no,
Like, what if I take two at once? Is that an
one,
OD?
one is enough. The thing is, one is
Was it an
enough.
overdose on?
Frank, question.
Yes.
So, because I don't remember, but is
Vibranium overdose
the
on
heart shaped
vibranium
herb a result of the vibranium in the
Soil?
Yes.
It is.
Yes.
Okay, so
So that's
it's like an organic form of
well,
vibranium.
it's the when the meteorite crashed into Wakanda in the comics and the movie, I guess to a degree. When the meteorite crashed into Wakanda, the parts of it that are in the soil it grew the heart shaped flower.
So would that affect like other plants, rivers, streams, animals? You know, like how far does this
As far as we
vibranium
know,
in
it goes
as far
to
as
the
we
heart
know.
shaped
flower?
As far
Was it
as
a
we
heart
know.
shaped flower? Because I didn't see it as shaped of a heart. Like
They
I
called
didn't,
it
I didn't
herb.
notice
They
it.
called it a heart shaped herb.
Oh, was the herb? They had the
Yeah.
herb on it?
Yeah.
Can you smoke that heart shaped herb?
From the air.
Can you smoke the vibranium
Straight
herb?
from the
Maybe.
earth.
But-
Right, like what if
but
somebody trying to
remember-
roll it up and smoke
Well,
it?
remember, and it's also a
You'd
liberty
be on
that
the
they
astral
took, which
plane.
kind of
You be so high, you be on the
You
astral
like-
plane.
Grandpa? Great grandpa?
But remember,
He was there.
But remember, there's a liberty
Master
that they
Johnson?
took with saved them.
Master?
is that the heart shaped herb only works with a bloodline.
It does.
Yeah, it only works with the bloodline.
okay.
So anybody else that takes it will be
Okay.
poisoned.
Oh,
Really?
Why is
Yeah,
that?
so that's why they made Killmonger and T'Challa cousins. So it works with him.
Right.
Wait, because in the comics,
And the
Because
comics, that's
then-
how it is.
Because then
It
you
is?
have like
Yeah.
corrupt.
Killmonger
Correct,
doesn't have the he doesn't take the heart shaper.
yeah,
they're
Killmonger
not
is just
related.
straight.
Because
Like,
then-
he's
Yeah,
just
he's just
brolic.
straight gangster. Yeah.
Like in the comics, Killmonger
Yeah.
is just brolic. Like
Yeah,
he's
he's-
like 10 feet.
Yeah, he's straight
So-
gangster.
He's
so
a
then-
big ass black dude.
Yeah.
You'd have like rogue priest and like corrupt priest taking the flower and gaining super strength and shit like that
Yeah,
if it worked with
probably,
anybody.
Right, but it's
word.
it's only with
Because
the
you'd have to have a
bloodline.
really devout priesthood to not have somebody come in and take that fucking, you know,
Yeah,
that flower.
So-
That shit grants superhuman strength.
yeah. Anybody else that would take the flower, in raw form or the form that they had it with the liquid,
Mhm.
they get poisoned and die.
What if they just took a little bit? Just a little.
So
They
what they
die.
mix the
Just-
flower with? Hey, look, they put that joint in. Pinky nails.
That's some good vibranium.
Take a little nose blast of vibranium.
Wakanda.
So, yo, anybody got a Wakandan dollar? Yeah.
So.
You take a little Wakandan blast, a nose blast.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but yeah, no, they so I like that they took that liberty
Yeah.
with them being family, because I'm like, if Killmonger took it and it wasn't family, it wouldn't have made sense. But they were gonna offer it to M'Baku, and I'm like, I don't think they know.
I don't
that,
think
like
they-
it would
they
have
probably
killed
don't
him.
know.
But that's why he
know.
was like, "Come with me." T'Challa's been here all along, stuff like that.
So they did cover a lot of like logic problems. So Killmonger just
I wish
took
that
the
would
other
explain a
suit.
little bit more though.
Yeah.
yeah.
Killmonger just took the other suit that T'Challa didn't choose.
Yeah.
Flash.
So
he
a
had the
friend
green.
of mine,
Yeah.
had
Gold.
the same issue. A friend
Mhm.
of mine had the same issue. He's like, "How is it the Golden Jaguar?" He knew about the Golden Jaguar suit like right away. It's just like,
Because he owns all that shit once he's king.
yeah. But the thing is, like, Shuri wasn't there to inform him of
Right.
how it works and all that stuff.
Yeah,
Nobody else around
Maybe
there
he just
knows
walked
how
right.
it
He's like, "Yo,
works.
this is pretty dope." I'm like, just
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah.
So that's another thing. He's like, "Hey,
I found this is mine now.
I found a Black Panther suit in the basement. I don't know if y'all wanted this one.
Why
Maybe
not?
maybe he just wanted some
Mhm.
like nice jewelry. He's like,
Yeah, he just took put that shit on.
That's-
That's very
he's
possible.
like,
But I kind of think like maybe the Dora had some knowledge
Yeah,
of
yeah,
like what was
somebody
going on.
did.
So it's like, if you
'Cause
put this on,
there were
you will
other
become the
people
Black
working down
Panther.
there.
Exactly. So like, if you
Custodians
put
are
this
like-
on, you will become the Golden Jaguar, not the Black Panther, but you will become a Black
Okay.
Panther.
But that's the thing. The Golden Jaguar thing. I mean, they didn't set it up as that, but they just set it up as you
Black
have this
Panther.
option of gold or purple.
Or gold or silver.
So it's like
he's like, I like gold. I want to differentiate. But you know, I think it was what T'Challa said before. He was like, you know, because Shuri asked him, he's like, here's the gold one. Do you like it? He's like, I like it, but I kind of want to be inconspicuous.
He didn't want to show off too much.
I don't want to be noticed, and so he's like, I like the classic look. So
it'll be how he is, like on that, like that gold.
Yeah, he's like, it stands out too much. But Killmonger, he doesn't give a fuck. Like he want, and again, see the symbolism. You guys understanding the symbolism? It's like
black people like bling.
Killmonger wanted to go out.
No. I mean, that's true.
Added some diamond studs in his drink. Some diamonds added in that shit.
We're trying to get away from stereotypes.
The cheese with the grill.
Killmonger had a grill.
Yeah, he did.
He had a grill.
He did.
But again, it goes to show, like, you know, T'Challa wanted to keep things local, where Killmonger wanted to go out and show himself, show Wakanda, show that they're more powerful.
Right.
So I think that symbolism is there. I didn't even get that till just now.
Which
I love.
I love Killmonger's motivation. I like his motivation. Like, yo, let's get this technology out there and help these people, man. I like that shit. Like, oh yeah.
And you know the craziest part is at the end, T'Challa realized, in a way, he was right.
Yeah,
and that's what led to the whole.
He just wanted to go about it in the wrong way.
Yeah.
He wanted to go about it in a mercenary kind of way.
Yeah, he's right. They're right.
I think he wanted to bring it to him slow.
Right.
He threw it out there like that. He wanted to bring it slow.
Right. Like,
said, take these nukes over there and fuck these dudes up. Goddamn, you want to take Britain? You want to take vibranium?
Belgium?
We're gonna have one.
America?
We're gonna have one nuke. We're gonna have one nuke per continent. That should be good. And one vibranium nuke should be.
You want a vibranium nuke on the continent?
I
think that's a good idea.
Except for Africa, we're good.
I'm like, have you thought through this plan, Killmonger? This seems like quite a good plan. Maybe you should slow down and attack the economy first. Go through it through the banks.
Nice. I'm gonna blow them all.
Yeah, take them all now.
All right, so real quick before we wrap up Black Panther, man, I wanted to touch on Dr. Boyce Watkins and that article I sent to the group. If we can get together $200 million of our money, then there's no way to differentiate how many white people versus how many black people see in this movie versus how many Asian people versus how many whatever, Hispanics. If we can get up this amount of money to go see a black movie, why can't we do that to support a black-owned business like a black bank or a black supermarket or a black, right? Or like a black retail store. You know what I mean? Wow. And we can't say because we don't know. Like, there's apps where you can find out black-owned businesses, but it's easier and more convenient to go to Walmart.
We don't work together.
That's it.
Black people?
We don't. Honestly, think about it, man.
We did in this movie. There might have been some beefs on set we don't know about. I guarantee some of these black people in this movie was beefing. We don't know about this. What the fuck said? He said, what the trailer?
He's like, I'm the king of Wakanda.
You
the king of Wakanda.
Yo, he said, yo, word on my mother, son. I'm gonna come see you.
Yo, I'm gonna feed you to the lions.
Say that again.
He's like, my dude, I played a villain in this movie. He's like, Michael B, you just a dude outside of the camera. See me outside. See me outside. B's for bitch.
Other people are hyping this shit. Like,
I'm saying, but no.
Everyone's in the background like,
it probably was.
He was over there, Joe, snickering and laughing. He called you a bitch, son.
He called you a bitch, son.
Egging the shit on.
But no, ultimately, when it comes down to it,
you know how black folks is.
Yeah, man.
But that's what it is, though.
Black folk, man, get to think about it. If you ever look at the races all together, how they work together. Like Asian folk, they work together. Latino, they stay together. They got houses together.
Hire each other.
Yeah, they hire each other. Like, I know a friend of mine who's going through that right now with trash stuff. She always got Latinos looking at it, trash stuff. She always giving the next guy the hour and look out for their own. White folk, vote for it.
So why are black people so divided? Why does it take a movie, a comic book movie, to bring us together?
Colonizers.
I do like that term, colonizers.
I said colonizers, man. We all kind of
pitted against each other.
Read up like that. You said if you're this type of person, this type of color, light skin, dark skin. If you're this type of light skin color, you get treated better, and that still happens.
Colorism.
Yeah, colorism too.
Colorism.
That's
Dark
what
skin.
happens.
Like the
Now
whole
say
house
black
slave
folk.
mentality.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
house
exactly.
slave, pretty much house slave.
Like how like, when a slave ran away, if you have 100 slaves on your plantation, how do you know one ran away the next day?
Right.
Somebody
I'm like,
told.
damn,
Somebody
two
knew.
niggas, 3 niggas. Okay, I got it.
One nigga.
I'm missing a nigga. I'm missing a nigga over there.
Sounded like that Jay-Z song.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, but honestly, when I think
Yeah,
about
one
it,
nigga,
man,
2
black
niggas,
folk-
3 niggas, 4. You making a song out of
Yeah, I
that?
said now, when you look at black folks trying to do business together, there's always somebody that's trying to outdo somebody else. They got something better. They else want it. And then they want to be flashy with it.
Why is it so hard for us to come together? Why do we
I
gotta
read-
come together
so
over a comic
I don't-
book?
So I read about the theory of the crabs in a bucket theory, where basically like everyone has want to be that one guy on the top,
Yeah.
but everyone else brings them down. It's like crabs.
Yeah,
right.
like I said, they want that top spot. They want to be in that spotlight. They want to make all the decisions. They want to be the big dog, making all the decisions. And they just want to do it the wrong way. Though they don't want to help each other. They're too busy trying to be the guy. To bring everybody
The
up.
thing is, it's not about scarcity. We all can be up there. That's what's going on with the You just see that one spot, but
Everybody.
Well,
But
it's
they don't want
America,
that,
though.
Like I said, that's the thing. They don't want everybody.
But I think it's also because of society, though. You look at today, like the entertainment business and stuff, right?
There has to be a hierarchy.
Yeah, it's like, you know what? We're gonna give this person an opportunity. We give this person an opportunity. But that's it.
Because even like I said, in businesses, white folks, they even Asian folks, Latino, everybody, they hand businesses down. They keep it in the planet. They hand it down to the next generation. They run it for a while, show them the business, bring them up, help them up, learn them, show them the way, give it to them, let them run it, and they just keep passing off.
Maybe, but it's not
They
just
keep growing.
Asians, right? I mean, it's not just because they're Asian, because there's
No,
discrimination
I don't
between
mean-
different groups
I
of
don't,
Asians
I
as
don't
well.
mean just
Right,
Asian.
there's different
Yeah.
discrimination with different groups of
Yeah.
Latinos. Like I'm saying is that it's not always just because they're Asian, but here's
Well,
a
I don't
perspective,
mean,
right?
I don't mean just Asian. I mean just different races
No,
in general.
I hear you, and
Even
I agree.
Africans,
Like I agree.
Africans, they look after their
Right,
own.
Africans will come into the country.
Hell yeah, though.
Nigerians-
Sometimes too much. I'm like,
Nigerians will
goddamn,
come
I'm
in,
black
or
too.
Ghanaians will come in,
What the
and
fuck?
they will
Maybe
have
it's
their own business. They'll have
maybe
their
it's an
own
American
communities,
thing. I think
and
so,
they will,
maybe.
and they will reach out to other Ghanaians or other Nigerians or whatever. They'll reach out to others of their kind,
Sure.
but it's not necessarily that it's not just gonna be black people
They're not gonna-
in general,
I think
right?
I think it's an American thing because we're taught to be independent.
There you go.
Right. Yes.
That's
Yes.
it.
To be
It's,
independent.
it's a combination. It's a combination of so many different things, and one of that is that it's a Black American thing.
Right.
To hold each other down. Black Americans, sorry to say, but we hate on each other
Yeah.
so much.
We are
That's
very
why
divisive
I'm not saying
as a
I'm not saying
group of
present
people,
company.
man.
I'm just
Yeah. No,
I'm
saying.
not
It
trying to
is.
generalize, but that's just what it is.
But hating is a part
But
of
it-
our
it's true.
culture.
But in
Yes.
some sense,
Way it's
in
sad.
some sense,
Yeah.
in some sense, we band together quicker and closer than a lot of other groups, communities of people, man. Like,
When something goes
look at something
wrong,
like the
when
Black
something
Panther
goes wrong,
movie.
right.
We will
Something
go
goes
out and
wrong.
support
Right,
that
right, right.
movie.
Right.
Like,
It is,
it's
but
to no end.
It's only when something happens or something goes wrong that we want to like, hey, let's go get my brothers. Then after that, we go back to the separate ways. Again.
Also, I'm gonna
I don't
hand you
like
guys
it.
out. I got some Black Lives Matter bracelets.
Oh,
If y'all
shit.
want
Give
one?
me
You know
one
what
of
I'm saying?
those, dog.
You
What you
want
mean?
Black Lives Matter
I've
bracelets?
been gave me
See, you
this,
want Black
dog.
Lives Matter
I don't want
bracelets?
that.
Oh, all right.
Hey, give me his. Let me get his.
Like, I'll take that
Okay,
back.
you want that,
I'll take that shit. I got one. You know what I'm saying? But yeah. Speaking of which, black people do band together when
do.
it's time. Like
In
when
times
civil
of
rights
crisis,
happened and
yeah.
shit, and we were like, look, we can't do this anymore. We need to change the way this world is based on these principles that we have in our Constitution. Then
Yeah, but we
they were
gotta-
like, look, let's fight for it.
But also, we gotta stick that
Because
way
black in
every
America was
aspect.
easily identifiable. I
Yeah.
saw you. You were black.
Yeah.
Me and you as brothers. I don't
Yeah.
care if we don't know each other. We from
Exactly.
two different states.
Right.
Exactly.
We know each other.
We know each other.
Exactly.
Like, you know.
Yeah, you know what it is.
So why is it so divisive now? Why
No.
can't we support
You
black
know what? Actually,
businesses
that
now?
was portrayed in Get Out, where you saw the two black people. They're like, "What's going on?"
Yeah, we
Yeah.
do.
Yeah.
You already
But that's
know.
the thing, because it's not that it's
I didn't
not
see
true.
it, though. I
Because
didn't
if
see
you are an
I
all-white
never
get
see
together
Mhm.
and you see a black homie, you always like,
What's up,
What
man? I see you.
Yeah.
what up, man?
Like, hey,
See,
we
but
see each
I-
other.
Like, we greet
Yeah,
each other.
but
And
I
if
hate-
shit went down,
So do you think it's a societal problem where it's like a matter of convenience? Like if
It
I
is.
have to
So,
order from this
I have a
website to go
different
to a
answer,
black-owned
though.
business
I have
to
a
get my
different answer.
lotion and my soap and my towels for my house, or if I can just go to Walmart, who's owned by the Walton family, white people. You know what I mean? And
it
I can get that shit that same day and go home and rest up. And
which is cheaper?
is that society or is that black people?
Question is, what is cheaper? So I have a
Would you be
different
willing
answer.
to pay
I have
$2 more
a different
for the
answer.
same product
There are so many,
versus going to Walmart?
If it's
There are
a
so
bar of
many-
soap, no.
There are so many variables.
If it's a bar of soap, I'm not paying $5
you
for a
wouldn't pay
bar
$5
of
for-
soap.
you wouldn't pay $5 versus $3?
The thing is, there are
You
so
support
many.
a black-owned business?
The thing is, there are so many
I feel you.
variables.
I feel you, but it comes down to convenience and
There are too many variables within that. Even because even just down to it's a specific situation, specific retailer or black-owned business that you're going to. The thing is that us as a people, we need to learn how to accept other people doing better than us, or other people doing well for themselves, because that's the whole thing with the Black American community.
And until we do
unfortunately.
that, we're always gonna be divided.
The thing is, it's just like when a new pair of Jordans come out.
Yeah,
All
everybody's
these motherfuckers
dissing
all
on who
over the
don't got
signs,
it.
Like, yeah, who don't got it? You fucking suck.
No faith.
You know,
No
They
face, I
killing
remember.
folk over jackets.
it's just like
Starter
it's just
jackets back in the day.
starter jacket.
Those
was
sneakers,
shit,
that-
man.
jackets.
That little slip-on starter jacket, the joint you pull
But
over
it's just
top.
like it's
That
just
was
like
cool,
but
man.
that's another
It's a
thing.
symptom.
That's another thing though with the black community though. It's just like, and it's to a point that somebody said really early on here, but it's just at the same time, it's like, why is it that if we're not living in the best situation, that we got to go get the newest pair of Jordans, which cost like $400?
Yeah.
We can't afford it.
Our mindset,
Why don't you put the money
It's an
towards
external
something
show.
else?
materialistic?
An
You know,
external show.
an external show of wealth. You know, thinking that you got your shit going down, but you can't buy fucking food.
See,
So I've read about that theory as well. So in economics, a lot of times, a lot of people in urban youth
Yes,
and whatnot,
everybody.
the reason why they front so much is because they know there's not that longevity. They probably won't live to be 30. They probably won't live to be 40. So why invest $300 into a 401k that I'm never going to see?
Right.
Social Security, any of that.
Yo, which
You
is
know
a
what?
lot.
Fuck it,
Well, I could stunt.
That's probably less logical.
Which leads into a whole nother realm of where the human species actually came from, which I was talking to about.
This is kind of deep as shit.
Hold on. Let me make an
answer.
answer. I have an alternate answer to your question, though. The
Oh, yeah,
original
that's right.
question, I do have an alternate answer. And so the question being, why don't black people put money into black-owned businesses? Because, or if you have this money to go see Black Panther. So how much did you spend to go see Black Panther?
Shit,
I
I went to the
mean,
matinee,
first
dog.
time-
I went
the
to the
first time-
IMAX
the first
3D
time-
joint. Yeah,
First
that's
time I paid
$11.
for me and for my wife, so that was $70.
$70.
You got popcorn, didn't you?
See,
You said yet?
How much
That's it?
you
I got
spend, D?
yo, my
$11.69?
popcorn- yo, my
$11.69
popcorn
matinee.
bucket. My popcorn
Jay?
bucket was a Black Panther.
How much you,
Panther head.
like,
Did you
I
keep
got-
it? Black
of course.
Panther?
Of course,
Maybe-
I got two.
$11. So here's the question. If they accumulated $5 billion, it's not the number, but from black people,
$20.
how does that equate to black people not supporting black business? So the question is, like, why does this? It seems like a non sequitur to me. Like, if people went to go see Black Panther and made this much money in a $2 million budget movie, why does that equate to black people not supporting T-shirts, shirts, maybe a bank,
Not
with
only
their
shirts.
$11 to $15 to $25? It's a non sequitur. It's not a relevant. It's not a relevant comparison.
That's what I was talking about.
It's
with
not.
variables,
It's not
too.
equivalent. It's not equivalent.
Equivalent, yeah.
Equivalent. That's what I was saying with the
not
variables
quality.
too. It's
It's not equality.
It's not equivalent. It's not
equal.
equality.
It's not equal to.
It's not from the Black Star.
Wakanda. Quality.
Wakanda.
Wakanda quality. It's not equivalent. It's not equivalent.
It's not equivalent. It's not equivalent.
Equalala.
It's not equivalent.
Equivalent.
I
No,
think
but
that's
that's
that
a-
wine
that's a-
kicking in that
But
yellow
that's
tail
a-
Merlot.
but that's a good question.
Yeah.
That's like it is a non sequitur.
And when
It
we're
is-
talking about hating and we're talking about
It's
like
not
the
a non
competition,
sequitur.
isn't that a form of competition? Like, oh, you can spend that money on this. Well, why can't you spend money on this?
It's not a fair equal
It's like, wait,
comparison,
that's not really
but
fair.
it's relevant in the sense that your level of excitement, right? Like you were excited to go spend your $11 for myself, $70 for Frank, however much you spend.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you were excited to go do that. But if somebody came and said, "Hey,
like
there's a
40.
black-owned business. It might cost you $2 more to support them, and it might take you an extra day to get the product that you want." But you can go there, or you can go to Walmart.
That's the thing.
At the end of the day, for a Black Panther, your money is still going to white people.
Here's the thing.
Disney
I
is
do buy.
owned by
Like,
I think they're actually owned by a majority Asian, right? Isn't their ownership board
No,
Asian?
No, the board is majority white.
Okay, yeah. I mean, so at the end of the day, your money's
So here's
still
the thing.
not going to
It's
the
like-
black
It's
community.
just China has a big stock.
I
Right.
support the
really
black
stuff
things
with
that I
that.
like, right? So I buy black-owned comics. Like I seek them out and I purchase them,
Yep.
and I'll spend the extra $2 to
Same
get
here.
those. But I'm not gonna do it for a bar of soap, right? So
Why
it's
not?
like,
No, man.
cause
What if it's
why?
Angola oil?
And
What if
the
it's
thing is-
what if it's a
Jojoba?
vibranium
And
oil?
the thing is-
Jojoba oil in the wind, yo. But
never
I mean, I'm
asked
just saying,
this
like,
again.
it depends on what your thing is, right? So I support black stories because I like black stories. I buy black authors, black stories, all these things. If I can find them, I will get them, and if I don't get them now, I intend to get them later.
And
And
that's-
that's-
and
I don't-
but it's the thing.
With him, that's just a specific situation.
It's a specific
You don't have
thing.
to. You don't have to. You also.
But I'm not-
You also
I'll
don't
buy
have to. You
Zest
also
for
don't have
$1.
to buy every single thing that a black-owned business. You have your likes, your dislikes.
Right,
You have your
right,
preferences. It's just like if you want to bring it back to a media perspective. Yes, I'm so glad that black people are getting exposure. Like it's been for the past few years. You know, it's been coming up, and now it's blown up with Black Panther.
Boom.
Wakanda, right? But at the same time,
Especially in
at
one of the
same
most
time, it doesn't
revenue-generating
mean-
genres of movie, which is action, comic book, movie
Right.
genres of movies.
Marvel Studios
you
is
know?
the biggest Hollywood
Yeah.
studio ever.
I mean, you look at some of
ever.
the major production grosses over the last 15
You know,
years. They're
Marvel
comic book
Studios
movies.
is bigger than Warner Brothers.
Yeah.
It's bigger than studios that have been in the game. But anyway, that's besides the point. So you have black actors, black directors, but at the same time, it doesn't mean that they're all good.
Right.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So it's like,
Just because they're black.
well,
Yeah,
just because they're black or maybe another person of color
But
doesn't mean doesn't
back
mean
in
that
civil
it's
rights
good.
days,
Why
it
would
wouldn't
I-
have
why
mattered
would I-
whether it was good or not.
No,
it was black.
it's
It
all
was
black
black
coming
owned.
together.
You know what I mean? Like you couldn't go. It's about keeping money in the community and supporting each other.
I think we're in a different age where that is not as
They didn't have the internet back
Sometimes
then.
you'll see
Exactly.
a black person
Oh, yeah, they do have
maybe on a
soap.
train, on the metro, in the mall, and you'll be like, man, that's a ghetto motherfucker right there, man. I'm like, why you can't just be quiet and shit like that? You know what I mean? Why can't we look at each other like, just the black man? Like, we have stereotypes about ourselves.
That's a deeper
You know what I mean?
conversation.
Right?
But
But it's
it's
into this because
But it's
this
media.
is
It's media portrayal, like he said. It's media portrayal.
Yeah.
Like,
Which is
you
why
know,
Black Panther is so important because then
it shows us in a positive light.
Actually,
It
bringing
definitely
it,
does.
bringing it back,
Positive
bringing
light.
it back
Very
like
true
20
positive
minutes ago.
light.
What was
Yeah.
my favorite part of the whole movie? Actually, was there's two parts when they were flying in for the first time,
that was awesome.
and you actually
Wow.
see just how beautiful Wakanda is. And
Like,
he was like, you know,
And they never
I've done this-
explained
I
about
got
that goddamn
literal
hologram
chills,
shield.
like goosebumps.
Yeah.
and he was like, I've done this so many times, but it always looks awesome.
But they never explained
Yeah.
about that hologram shield. That's another gripe, goddammit. Thank you, Jay. They
Oh,
never
my
explained
God.
it. When did they do that?
But-
Why did they need the hologram?
Why do we need to explain holograms?
But my favorite part
Seriously,
though
why
was
need a
like,
hologram
when,
to hide
they had
Wakanda?
when they had the battle, where they had the 5 tribes come in.
Mhm.
I like how each of them was represented.
Right. Yeah.
Different colors
In
too.
different colors.
Different colors. They each had like a representative and a warrior that was ready to fight.
Right.
Like if the representative said, "You know what? Yeah, go challenge him."
Yeah, they
So
were
that
ready.
was
They were
like,
there.
at the
And-
right-
I like
and
that
out of
because,
respect,
like, if you
they
look
were
at
still
any
unified.
Other, like,
yeah. Except for
look
the
at
Jabari tribe, they were not. They
Well,
separated themselves.
What
Yeah.
can you do? It's always
There's always one of
No,
those.
always.
But what I was gonna say is like the reason why I like that is because again, you know, in media portrayal and you know, like whatever, you always see black people, you see Asians, you see whatever in a certain stereotype.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? To see that in its raw essence, essentially, it's like, oh wow, so like they're not all like X, Y, and Z stereotypes.
They're not all.
Well, me
they're not all from the
personally,
hood.
man,
They're not all slaves, drug dealers, and
Right.
all that
Right.
shit. You know.
Which they totally faked me out at the beginning of the movie. I was like, why the fuck are they playing the heist in Black Panther?
I
I was
liked it.
like, why the fuck are they
I feel
doing
like
this?
they did it on purpose.
They did do it on purpose. That's what they did.
They
yeah.
did do it on
They did it
purpose.
Just to get you in, like,
They did it on
Really?
purpose. Like, we're gonna get another
They
one
were
of
like-
these, and then
They
not
wanted
even
before.
like a minute went by, and
Yeah.
then all of a sudden,
I don't even think it was a minute. I don't think it was 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Like, this shit was right there. Like,
We were starting in the hood,
okay, so you're about
and
to
they
go
were
rob
like,
somebody.
it was like they were saying, "This isn't this kind of movie.
Mm-hmm.
Like this is not what this kind of movie is.
That's what I was thinking, like, y'all
this
about
is
to
what
go
you
rob
were
somebody,
expecting.
man.
You're not gonna get this.
Not that.
It's not that at
I
all.
loved it,
Right,
man. I love that shit.
Fucking drive by or something. Like, I don't want to see that shit.
Mm-hmm.
Then
But I
immediately they
thought
took
it
that shit
was
away.
cool them showing the kids playing basketball. Though. I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
And
That's
I
real. People
yeah.
do it.
And I really like the way they cut to when you saw little Killmonger, little Eric, like looking
Little
at the ship.
Killmonger.
Yeah,
I like that
Little
name.
Monger.
Killmonger.
Yeah,
Little Killmonger.
Little
Yeah,
Killmonger.
Little
I think I
Monger.
named
Yeah.
Little
Little
Killer.
Monger. Yeah, but that's when we saw Little Monger like looking up right at the ship, and then they cut to the Marvel Studios, and I'm like,
Yeah.
this is it. I'm like, this is gonna be good. I knew it right from there. I'm like, this is gonna be good. because instead of them showing like the hero doing something or the hero doing something, it was about the villain.
Yeah.
It was about how they immediately made you sympathize with him, and
the development of that character.
When they tied it back that was Killmonger, I was like, oh shit.
Yeah. But it's like, why are they showing this little kid? Why is he so important? So I was thinking about him at the back, and I'm like, nah, I don't know if he's that important. And then it's like, turned out that he's Killmonger. I'm like, oh shit,
Killmonger.
Yeah, I like how they threw that in there.
You know,
I like Killmonger as a character. I just hated how he was delivering his line. That's all I was like, catchy. It's like kind of like Chrome Dome. It's kind of like the Chrome Dome line from fucking Star Wars. Dog.
Star Wars.
Come on, Chrome Dome.
That was literally accurate.
Well, I was in that
or the
dome
joke.
was Chrome.
The dome was Chrome. But
I get it.
That doesn't make it better. That
was a literal point.
Or the
Come on, Chrome Dome.
Yeah, your mama.
It's like
I'm holding for General Hux, your mama.
3,200, you know, like, is a way to the future.
Like,
You're
bro,
still making your mama joke?
this is a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. Y'all still have
Maybe
your mama jokes?
he never heard of it before, and he came up with it on the spot. What about that?
I even thought in the Force
'Cause the
Awakens,
dome
like
was chrome.
the dome was chrome. Okay, I'll give you that. Okay? The goddamn dome was chrome, but this shit was this shit still sucked.
I don't know.
Her chrome was dome and shit.
And the ancestors was like, oh,
her chrome was dome and shit.
the ancestors like, yes, finally,
the secret of life.
Ninja Turtles reference.
No, the so you'd be surprised that in the beginning I actually had a problem with this movie. You'd be surprised.
Wakanda? I mean,
no, and Black Panther.
Black Panther? Yes.
Wakanda. Might as well. Same thing. No, but one of the problems that
what
I
kind of
did
problem
have,
you got?
but then I saw it the second time and I'm like, no, it's good, it's fine. But it's just like
Wakanda.
We had no white women.
Wakanda with all the white people.
So I thought like T'Challa took a back seat in his own movie because everybody else around him was so strong.
So good. Yeah.
I thought Killmonger outshined him in that throne room scene.
I think
he did.
Killmonger killing you
did.
right there. And then he fucked him up and threw him off a waterfall.
And I still stand by that.
Yeah.
I still stand by that. Killmonger was stronger than Black Panther. But I will say that upon the second viewing, and after really like looking at Black Panther, Chadwick Boseman played him perfectly. That's exactly how he's supposed to be.
He is
Perfectly. That's exactly
he's reserved.
Stoic, reserved, quiet. Speaks when he needs to.
He's looking and observing everything.
Right. No wasted words at all.
That's
he
T'Challa.
played him perfectly. So I was like, oh, he didn't take a backseat in his own movie. He played the fucking part perfectly.
T'Challa.
I bought his accent, everything. I bought everything about the character.
He played it perfectly.
I think his character is him personally. Like I said, the way he carried it.
Yeah, he's real quiet.
Yeah, Chadwick
Boseman.
His whole mannerism.
Even in Civil War, he didn't say much. He acted. He didn't say much.
He just had
action.
He had presence. He spoke when he needed to. He acted when he needed to, but nothing more.
What you think? Like,
too many words are useless. The means of character.
He played James Brown.
And Jackie Robinson.
He played James Brown and Jackie Robinson, and he played Marshall.
Yeah, I haven't seen Marshall, but I wanted to see that.
The other day.
Was it good?
Man, it's good, man. It is real good.
Yeah.
It is real good. The dude that
look good.
I just want to go on record and say, I'll fuck Michael B. Jordan up. I don't give a fuck how big he is. That might be the wine talking. That might be the wine talking, but that's how I feel at the moment. I'll whoop his ass.
Damn.
Let's just go on record and say that.
You do know he was Creed's son,
I don't give a fuck.
I
don't give a fuck if he's 375 pounds. Solid muscle. I don't care.
Damn, I don't think he's that big.
Fucking solid. He was solid in that movie.
God
damn, man.
Michael B. Jordan, we're calling you out.
Yeah.
Killmonger, we calling you out.
Don't
do
that, man.
Yo, don't put it on Twitter, man. Because
you
on Twitter he responded to somebody who called him out on something.
I saw. I didn't see what it was.
He's like, how's little ass 5'9" Killmonger gonna take out Black Panther? And then he responded to the person on Twitter. He was like, first of all, I'm 6 feet tall. Bitch. And then he's like, second of all, it's just a movie, so relax. It's cool. Like we're actually good friends.
Hashtag
for the record,
little bitch.
I didn't say that. Before you Michael B. Jones.
But yeah, man.
That was Killmonger, not Michael B. Jones.
But yeah, I initially had a problem.
I
initially had a problem with the movie. I initially had that problem with the movie, but besides that, then I was like, nope, no problem with the movie. I had no issues.
Like I said, my favorite part.
I do have another issue. It was just the CGI fight scenes with the character CGI when they were fighting and they're falling. and a lot of the action happened in the Black Panther suit was CGI. It was a CGI person jumping around. But I've always been okay with that since Blade 2 also. So I've always been like, oh,
Blade 2
that's
was like especially like,
right. I was like, wow, did they do that?
But I have to say,
that was the first time I seen it. So it was a thing, but I thought it was cool.
That sword fight in Blade 2, right before they went all CGI at the end of it, that sword fight's probably one of the best.
They started fucking wrestling at the end of Blade 2.
At the end of Blade 2, that fight scene was one of the best fight scenes in the world.
When
he broke that dude's arm, and he rolled off, and he was like, I was like, oh shit. That was a legitimate legendary movie, Blade 2. I don't know why they have to do 3.
Blade 2 is up right, minus the CGI, but
still. Even the CGI, I've always, as a principal, been okay with it because how else are you gonna take people to the next level?
Right.
Especially in movies like this.
Which
so maybe it was a little obvious.
The movie came out in 2002. The movie came out 16 years ago.
Like they look like putty people doing it. But I was like, okay, cool. But this one looked a lot better than that one.
It looked a lot better, but it didn't look as good as it could have.
It didn't look as good as
I think as far as comic book movies, Civil War, and even I dare say Justice League and Batman Superman are like the pinnacle of CGI in a comic book movie because that shit looked real, man. I don't care what you say. Justice League, Batman vs Superman, that CGI and that joint look real. When Batman was in that suit and jumped on the Superman and crashed him through the roof, that shit looked real as hell.
That was good as fight.
When he landed on Superman and got off of him, I was like, oh,
he was giving him
he feel like a real person.
He was giving him a shit today.
Yeah, that shit looked tight. There was no problem with the CGI in that movie.
I don't know if you should watch it today. I mean,
oh shit!
I just want to fast forward to the Superman Batman fight.
That's fine.
Go on YouTube.
Because that movie's 3 hours of trash.
I thought the same thing, but it wasn't. I'm on Juice's side now. It wasn't as bad.
I still think the same thing.
It wasn't terrible.
How many times did you see it?
I saw it 3 times.
Okay, well, you have a sturdy opinion, I guess.
It
seems to be grounded on serious observation.
Don't try to change it.
People hated on Man of Steel, but I love Man of Steel.
Man of Steel had issues. I love Man of Steel, but it was good.
I thought that was a great superhero movie, man.
I loved it. Like his character development and his perspective on the whole thing, and the fact that he was as powerful as he was and didn't have to do the things he for such petty reasons. Like that was on point to me.
I was looking at something the other day. I don't want to get into another discussion,
People
but I was looking at something the other day that one of the writers, Mark Millar, who wrote Kick-Ass, and he wrote
Kick-Ass was funny as shit.
Yeah, it was a good movie. But he wrote X-Men First Class. X-Men First Class, and he wrote like other comics too. Like he wrote Wanted. The movie was terrible. Okay. But
fucking curled that bullet around the whole fucking room. That one.
How's everybody the same height? How's everybody the same fucking height? Where it goes
you
exactly
curled one bullet around the whole room and then shot yourself.
When you just dodging like,
hey, why you didn't duck? You knew the bullet was coming.
I was the first guy. You was like,
what y'all doing? What dude was down like that? I'd have ended the whole game.
But he was saying, Mark Millar, he was saying that like the reason why DC movies aren't doing as well as Marvel movies, especially like with Black Panther.
I think a lot of it has to do with reputation.
Development.
Well, no, development is the real reason. But he's like his reason was like, oh, well, DC characters just aren't cinematic enough, and I'm like, bullshit. I love Justice League. And I'm like, Superman alone has the most possibility of being the most cinematic character ever created.
As well cinematic.
Batman, what have we seen for the last 12 Batman movies?
Right, but the thing is with Batman, we've had so many Batman movies, that's okay. Superman, I don't think anyone has the vision quite yet to get Superman done right.
I like Man of Steel. I thought it was.
Then we can
talk about Barry Gordon. Can we talk about Barry Gordon? Super, Superman going to fucking space, like punching dudes in space, coming down to the ground, going to different planets. That was just contained on Earth.
Yeah, bring some aliens in. Let them fight some aliens.
I love Justice League though. I thought Justice League was awesome.
I didn't see it.
Seeing all those guys.
Justice League was decent. It was decent. It wasn't as bad as people said it was.
No, it was nowhere near as bad as people said it was.
It wasn't as bad as people said. I was pleasantly surprised. I went in with a really low bar, but I was pleasantly surprised.
I did too.
You clearly saw 2 different directorial styles though. Like clearly 2 different
from Batman vs Superman.
No, they had to do reshoots. Jack Snyder and Joss Whedon.
They had to do reshoots for Justice League.
Yeah, so you saw clear. It was a clear divide between.
But imagine if they did Justice League, but with a movie for Aquaman, Arthur Curry, right? They had a developed movie for him, and then they had a developed movie. Like Cyborg was okay. I imagine Cyborg, he was ingrained.
Cyborg was fucking tight. Though. Like you,
I didn't see it, but Cyborg is ingrained
can easily be one of the most powerful characters we've ever seen.
But and then they had a movie for Flash, like legitimate movie for Flash, for Barry Gordon. Like if they had developed like legitimate character development, I feel like it would have been great. Like
DC
people
was
would have loved it more.
DC was rushing.
They were trying to catch up.
They were rushing. They didn't have the time, and it's not good. They don't make money that way. They don't make money that way. They were already on Suicide Watch because what Marvel's basically been doing is TV seasons, but movie form.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? You have to watch every episode, and then you get to the season finale. Avengers.
They got that other
Which
show.
is why I was so mad at my sister for watching Civil War after Black Panther.
Yeah,
like,
no,
what are you doing,
bro?
That's a big.
It's like watching episode 4 before watching episode 1.
You saw Black Panther, you didn't even see Civil War. That's why they introduced
Black
Black
Panther. Here's the thing, like
came out called
you
Lightning.
can
What is it called?
Black
Lightning.
I want to watch that, Jim.
Yeah, it's
don't
good.
I haven't seen it.
It's
at all.
so
It's
good.
not on Hulu.
It's really good.
I don't have TV.
I don't like it.
I don't watch TV.
You
don't like it? You don't like it?
No.
Why not?
I don't know. It just looks cheesy to me.
Oh man,
It's a TV show though. So here's the thing: you got to be down with the Arrowverse Flash series.
You like the Flash or Arrow?
I didn't see the Flash.
I didn't.
You haven't watched the Flash
I
yet?
haven't watched the Flash.
I haven't watched those
I
either.
like the
Black
Flash.
Lightning. You
don't like the Flash?
It's not that I don't like it. I love Barry Gordon and Wally West.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Barry Allen. Yeah. Oh, and Anna West. Barry Gordon.
Barry Gordy.
Yeah, I think Barry Gordy the singer.
No, Barry Gordon or
Motown right there. Barry
yeah.
All y'all do is tripping. Barry Gordon, Barry Allen, Barry Gordon.
But
no, that's a whole nother.
But yeah, I do love the Flash character.
Yeah, I like it, but I don't like the Black Lightning joke. I don't know. It just I don't know.
Speak to you?
No, it don't.
That's okay.
It don't.
That's
When
okay.
the first episode I watched at my mother's house, when I went to stop paying visit to my mother, she had it on. She was watching it. She into it. I'm like, I was doing that.
I know, like
And then
the TV shows of the week, man.
Yeah, the one thing that got me was the daughter.
She bad?
No.
Oh.
No, they cute, man.
Oh,
okay.
But the one thing I didn't like.
Yeah, she's
I'm gonna-
pretty bad.
Yeah, the one thing I didn't like was the fact, you know what I'm saying, she a lesbian in there, man. She had a girlfriend. I ain't like that. I couldn't stand how they did that.
okay.
I'm sorry, I couldn't stand how they did that.
They have the same thing in
Girl
Supergirl.
action cool?
In Supergirl.
I was like, why?
I heard about that.
Why?
Like
Because
people were
nowadays,
complaining why when the first black like TV series, which is not because they're okay, but the black TV series for DC, they had to automatically tie in the LGBT thing.
And I can't stand
because
that.
nowadays everything is about being a
inclusivity.
social justice
Right.
warrior.
That's it.
You
I don't
have
feel
to
like
include all
groups.
The tricky thing about diversity is that
Yeah, they can
diversity
leave
is
that stuff out of it.
diversity.
Everybody wants to get.
I want to say before all this stuff got really heavily exposed in this century, they weren't putting that in there before. Oh, they were trying not to put that in there.
Well, they couldn't.
Man, how bad is she? Because I'm still okay.
I mean,
with
she
you.
cute. I mean, they tight. That's the worst part
She
about it.
lesbian. I'm still cool with it.
Man,
Yeah, I ain't got a problem.
I don't like the
with
fact that they put that in. For me, I looked at it as like, I mean, you got Black Lightning in there.
That's probably sexist as shit.
Black. You got a black family with
Wakanda.
and she had to be a damn lesbian. She had to be a goddamn lesbian, man. I'm like, they could have left that part out of it. They had to put that in there.
As a girlfriend type?
Both of them was tight. That's the worst part about
That's
it.
the worst part about it. Is both of them be tight.
And both of them be tight.
Man.
And they could have left that. They didn't
I'm okay with that. I'm cool with that. I'll watch it.
No, I'm saying, but they could have left that. They did not have to put that in there. They did not have to
Put
put
that on
in
a Pornhub.
there. That's homo. I mean,
Right, so-
no, when I first watched that scene, when I first watched that first episode, I mean, might as well been. They was in there. You know what I'm saying? Like, they was getting it down. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm like, God damn.
Word.
It was that Joe taking notes.
They showing
Yeah.
really. They showing really.
Yeah.
I was like, oh shit.
Yeah, you were talking about Luke Cage before. Yo, it just had me thinking about Simone Missick. Oh my god.
Yeah, she bad.
Man,
Oh,
that kind of pissed me off with that one. I was like,
So-
man, they ain't.
You don't like
So
Luke
fellas,
Cage either?
You don't like
been-
Luke Cage?
Oh, I didn't see that one yet.
Oh,
Netflix, son. Luke Cage is
No,
on point.
watch it.
Like Mashallah,
I heard about it.
Mashallah Ali.
yeah.
Like as Cottonmouth, he was the best villain. Son, they killed him too early. They should have carried him to the end.
Yeah, man. I was just like, why did they kill him halfway
Spoilers.
through?
Sorry.
Like
Yeah,
Diamond,
watch that shit.
Diamondback
Diamondback was the villain.
Yeah, I'm like, no, Cottonmouth
I'm
was
Cottonmouth.
Marshall Ali, but Diamondback, I'm like, man, it's
Broke
stupid.
back.
Yeah, it was stupid.
Yeah,
So
it was stupid.
So, fellas,
Wait, I didn't see that.
Any final wrap-up thoughts on Black Panther? It's been about 2 hours on Black Panther. We need to get to this Florida school shooting.
Damn, yeah, you're right. We at 2:07 right now.
We spent 2 hours on Black Panther.
whole cast.
Well spent, I would say. Okay,
Well spent
I love Black Panther. I thought it was a great movie.
Yeah,
I was proud to see it, like Frank said.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's-
I was
that's
proud.
That's what it did for me.
Probably the number one emotion I felt was just pride. Like
Yeah.
I was just happy to see something
never-
about it.
I'm buying the
I can
Blu-ray
imagine- I can imagine all
and
the
the
impact
DVD.
it's had on like younger
And-
people.
and-
You know,
yeah.
like
I would also
wow.
want to say I want to see a historic, maybe not a historically accurate movie, but a historic movie about Africa. Like I want to see something like Spanish Inquisition. I want to see something in 1500 about an African civilization that existed
before colonization.
colonization.
So we don't have to
You want
deal with the
That might be,
colonization.
that might be the problem because colonization went on for so long. Maybe they can't. They don't have any goddamn.
A lot
Like
of records weren't
1500s.
written.
Yeah.
A lot of things weren't written records.
You gotta go back so far to
Yeah, we're
find
talking
something
about
before colonization.
King Louis V, and you know what I'm saying, William Shakespeare.
Yeah,
Well,
you're right.
supposedly
Ivory trade and
supposedly
shit.
Ryan
Yeah.
Coogler,
Boston
Ryan
Teacup,
Coogler and
Boston
Michael B.
Teapot.
Jordan,
Mhm.
Michael B. Jordan are gonna work on a movie similar to what you're talking.
Maybe
about.
something like you seen
It's like
Apocalypto.
an African king.
Mansa Musa.
I have seen. I have
Apocalypto
Yes.
was awesome.
Mansa
Mansa
Musa.
Musa,
Okay,
yes.
all right, yeah.
Is it gonna be
I
like
would be down to-
Apocalypto? Like I like that because they spoke in their language. It looked
I didn't see
old
Apocalypto.
school.
They spoke in their own. I don't know if
Yeah.
it's gonna be all of that. Like
Oh,
they,
right,
they, were
right.
just, they were just talking
Yeah,
about
they
it.
That's
spoke in
right,
like
the,
Mayan and
the
shit.
Aztec,
Yeah.
the Mayan junk.
But
Right,
they
that's right,
were
I
just
see that.
talking. They were just talking about it. But supposedly that's gonna be their next movie
Mhm.
together. So
Yeah.
you know,
I would love to
Maybe.
see something like that.
You know what's
Maybe.
cool is like Michael B. Jordan and Ryan Coogler are like apparently homies, right?
they've been a team.
Like,
Yeah, they've been a
like
team,
they're the
man.
team, but like they're about to open up the fucking whole genre for black movies.
He could have wrote better lines.
And
than
I
like
feel
Michael
like-
Jordan.
The thing
I mean,
is,
I think it's just how
Yo,
Michael
I'm
Jordan
saying
acts.
though,
The thing
I'm
is,
trying
I
to
just
get that
hope-
vibranium, homie.
I just hope,
What's
and this
up?
is what I was saying
That's my
before.
Fuck.
Like, yo, it's it doesn't just because yes, I would love to see all the ideas, but it doesn't mean all of them are great.
No, they're
Right.
not
You
all.
know what I
gonna be
mean? So
great.
I just hope that like we
We
don't
get
get
enough good ones.
flooded with trash to kind of bring us
We have to admit-
two steps back. You know
We have
what
to
I mean?
admit, like Hollywood right now isn't doing too great with entertaining.
They don't
movies.
have ideas.
Uh-uh.
I think
There's
that's one of the,
shit out
one
of
the,
ideas.
One of the
Yeah,
biggest
they're
reasons
gone.
why Black Panther
Right.
is existing at
because
this point.
they're out.
They
of,
don't have any ideas.
There's
They
nothing.
don't-
If
they
they don't
don't
have a
have-
comic book concept or idea, they have nothing.
It's just
I
reboots
mean,
and sequels.
We were talking about this a couple
Yeah.
casts ago. What movie are you excited to see? Like
Like,
outside of the
I'm
comic book
to see-
genre?
I'm excited to see Mission Impossible 6. That looks good.
Maybe.
Why?
I didn't like Mission Impossible 5 too much.
Yeah, 6.
I know. I saw the preview.
I saw
Yeah.
the preview too.
Six?
I was like, I don't know. I might want
Yeah,
to go check
6.
it out.
When you get to 6, it's like
I mean, the most exciting movie upcoming
Outside
release
of-
dates are
outside of
all
the-
comic book related
Outside
to
of a
me.
comic book movie, I am excited to see Wrinkle in Time.
That
I
does
wanna
look
see it
awesome.
right
I don't
now.
know if I
That
go to the
looks
movies
really
to
oh,
see it, but
also
that
there's
does
this
look
movie
that does look
called
awesome.
damn it, what's the name of it? It's like these women go into this alternate dimension. They're like,
Is that a Wrinkle in Time?
Did y'all see
it's
the
not a wrinkle in
Venom?
time. No, it's I
Sounds
disagree
like a
for
Wrinkle in
Venom.
Time.
But again,
Venom,
that goes
I
back
saw
to what
that,
I'm
yeah,
talking
yeah.
about.
But I didn't see Venom. They didn't show Venom. Right?
Venom. Like
Yeah,
a
they
friend
show
of mine had the perfect caption
Yeah.
on Facebook where he put the trailer and he's like, "We are Venom?" with a question mark, and
That
I'm
shit
like,
looks
"Yeah,"
tight.
and I'm like,
Yes.
I don't know what this is. Like, I didn't see
That shit
anything
look cool
Venom
though. I want
related.
to see it.
It did look Venom related, but if they tied it into life, I would be down.
No,
Yeah,
they
that'd
got
be
to
cool.
tie it
That
into
would be
Spider-Man.
cool as shit. Like that would be a
perfect origin.
great
They
origin.
got to tie it into
Origin
Spider-Man.
story.
It has to tie into Spider-Man
It'll
somehow.
tie into Spider-Man.
Exactly.
Mhm.
You cannot have Venom without Spider-Man. I don't
Right.
care.
Right.
Look, wait. Let me bring this up. Since
So is it going to
you
be
know the
Deadpool?
comics,
Is it rated R?
are they going to kill Holland for Spider-Man? Are they going to kill him?
Hell no.
And bring
So, in the
bring
ultimate-
in Miles Morales.
So
No.
in the ultimate storyline, they do kill Peter Parker.
He dies in the Ultimate
and that's when
storyline.
Miles Morales
And
takes
the
over
MCU
for him.
I
is based
don't
on the
think
Ultimate
so.
Universe.
Yes.
The
It's
MCU is based on the Ultimate
mostly
Universe.
on the
I don't think they'll kill
Universe.
Tom Holland. Maybe not this early. Maybe
He's got
3 or 4
a
movies
couple
from
of
now.
movies in his belt.
Yeah,
But you do
yeah.
know. But you do know. It's another movie I'm excited to see is the Miles Morales Spider-Man movie,
Mhm.
the animated movie later this year.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did hear something about that. Yeah.
But I'm excited to see it. They had the trailer. The trailer looks pretty good.
Mhm.
So
Animated movies are dope, man. Like, I was surprised to see the production budget for some of these DC animated movies, like
oh man,
The Killing Joke and shit like that.
animated movies, they fucking killing.
I
it,
didn't
man.
think that
Killing.
animated movies cost that much to make. Them shits are expensive as hell, man.
yeah.
Like,
Animation's hard.
No,
Animation,
shit is crazy.
animation is really
You don't just
Yeah.
be like, that sucks.
Yeah.
You be like,
I gotta put in every
Drawing
fucking detail
hard.
of this motherfucker.
You gotta
Yeah.
draw that mess, man. You gotta.
Yeah.
They gotta draw.
I didn't know
every
they were that
scene.
expensive. I was like, damn.
Yeah, they are expensive.
A lot of them shit's more expensive than Hollywood production
But
movies.
to be honest with you, outside of MI6 and Wrinkle in Time,
Damn it! There's this
outside
other
of
movie
comic
that
book
looks
movies,
interesting.
what
It's
did
an
you-
Infinity
alternate.
War. I'm excited to see Infinity War,
Right.
and I'm excited to see Ant-Man and the Wasp. That looks good too.
That shit does look kind of. That shit does look like.
Wait,
Why he didn't give
Wait,
Ant-Man win?
but is that gonna come before?
No,
That's
after.
after.
Just like the first Ant-Man movie came right after Age of Ultron. That's just how they did it.
I want to see that.
Ant-Man is
I
like the
just
start
wanna
of a
see
new
that.
phase. Like now, apparently.
So is
seems.
that it? Is that it? Is that all the
Is
movies?
Falcon gonna be Cap?
Huh?
Is Falcon
Captain
gonna
America
be
gonna
Cap?
be. Captain
No,
America and
Winter
Iron Man
Soldier.
are gonna die.
Winter Soldier's gonna be Cap. We know this.
Oh yeah,
Cap's
we
gonna
got a
bite it.
while.
Winter Soldier's gonna take over.
We
Winter
got a
Soldier's
while.
been like
Chris
in every
Evans-
fucking movie.
Chris
Damn,
Evans and
this is
Robert
why
Downey
we
Jr.
don't-
are gonna die. Their characters are gonna
I
die.
don't
in
know
this
if
movie.
Iron Man's gonna
I
die.
think
but
Iron Man
Captain
will.
America is definitely gonna bite
Yeah,
it.
he is.
Vision too. He's gonna bite it.
Yeah.
I think Hawkeye is not gonna bite it, but he's gonna turn into Ronin, which is gonna be dope. Like
Yeah.
evil Hawkeye.
Which is-
How is Hawkeye still relevant? Even we're talking
Yeah,
about Black
the
Widow.
Hawkeye-
It's like
some of the Hawkeye
y'all should be
comics.
fucked up.
Yeah, some of the Hawkeye comics are pretty good, man. You should
I
check
haven't
them
read
out
any.
right now. Yeah, you should check them out. They're really good.
Is like the Hawkeye Occupied? Is that good?
it's like Hawkeye. You go over
Occupied.
there and handle that one
Hawkeye
lone
Occupied, you
minion.
should check
Okay,
it
we'll
out.
come over
Yeah,
here and handle
yeah.
the boss.
It looked
Check it out.
interesting. All right, I might check that channel out.
Yeah, but
Oh, also, if you guys are on Comixology, it's my shit.
oh yeah,
Like this
I'm on
app
that.
right here. So this is where I get all my comics from.
Mhm.
I rarely buy like hardcover issues because I don't have any more room.
Isn't that-
So I can't. She won't let me. So I can keep it digitally and it's shit. Like
Is it hard
Put your
reading
foot
it
down. Put your
digitally
foot
versus
down.
holding a
Nah.
comic book in your hand?
nah, because you could tap and it goes from scene to scene. Like
You can
it's
zoom
kind of
in.
like a movie, like a
Mhm.
moving movie as you're reading. So it's pretty good. I like it.
And put your foot down.
Comics are still good though, but
Hey, just put your foot down,
Yeah, man. You
Wakanda.
come, you want your comic books, okay?
man. Wakanda.
You don't back down. Make sure she ain't listening. You don't back down for her, okay? I'm telling you, you
I
won't
mean,
have your comic
y'all
books.
see
So
my
that's it.
bookshelves over there now.
You see the way Jay did it? I know Jay put his foot down there, man, before he got married, man. He's like, hey, listen, this is the way it's gonna be, and that's the way it is, okay?
We'll
Well,
have
Tell
dinner.
her, Juice.
That's right.
Yeah, Jay, you gotta look around. Make sure
Damn
everybody's listening.
when his phone starts ringing right now, I was like,
Somebody
I
looking
heard
at
what
it.
you
Damn
said.
right, that is what it is.
Where are you?
Like, no, I said I will have dinner ready by the time you get home. Fuck.
Damn, what you want from me? But yeah, man. So
But not like I said, my whole
I'll
favorite,
check them
my
out.
whole favorite movie, my whole favorite thing for the movie is like I say is the representation. Period.
Yeah.
It's the all around representation. Like I said, the women in there were, I mean, they were great. I'm saying I can get past the little bald head.
It was hard for me to get past the ball head. I was just about to
I
say, I
got
like
past
the
the
women
ball
with
head.
little hair.
Milaje, man.
Hey,
Dora
I got-
Milaje.
They could- hey, they could've-
You
They could have CGI'd a little hair on us.
No, she was like, she didn't
She had the
have
wig. She had the wig
Like,
though. Remember the
she
wig?
had the
She looked better when she
And she was like,
did.
what the fuck is
She
this?
also had
I
a
did.
tattoo.
She hated that
The
shit.
thing is, the
Yeah.
Dora-
Speaking about social commentary, I did like that part when she put the wig on and she was like, I feel ridiculous. It feels demeaning. You know, because so many black
Yeah, I
women
like
wear
that.
fake hair
And
in
that's
their
why-
hair
and that's why I like that.
weave
part.
and shit like that.
That's
Yeah,
why
I did
that
like that. I
whole-
appreciated
That's
that.
why I like that whole bald head thing.
Because she was like, I
Because
feel
she's trying to-
ridiculous. I feel
because she's
humiliated.
Trying, yeah, they're trying to let all
Like,
I mean,
yeah.
all black women nowadays.
But
they
she
want
did
their
look better
To
with the
feel
hair on than
comfortable.
with the
And
bald
she
head.
looked,
though.
I
It's
mean,
fine.
no hair.
But no, she looked like the Tina Hall.
No, if your girl, if you went home,
She looked
look,
like Tina Hall, the one I played
Pam.
Pam on.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Pam.
She did. I was like, dang. She
I'll
looked
be
like
down to see
Pam.
Pam as Dora Milaje.
if you went on a date with a girl, and she came in and you was like, yeah, just take your shoes off and relax, we watch a movie or something. She took her wig off and she was just bald. You was
But
like,
wait a minute. What if you were dating her before and she already had? She was
but
just.
you didn't know she was bald.
No.
I'm talking about the
saying,
first
if
reveal
didn't
when
know.
you knew she was bald.
No, if you meet her and she's like rocking that joint
why would
proudly,
you have to be a why it has to be a reveal?
You
Why?
wouldn't have talked to her in the first place.
Why
wouldn't
not?
I?
Well, I said that's why.
If
that-
your
I
girl was
would've.
bald, Juice, you would have talked to her?
Huh?
If she had a bald head, you would have talked to her in the first place?
I don't know. Dude, I don't know. Like, I'm not in that situation, but it
I don't
depends.
think
Like,
so, yeah. I
like,
don't
you
know.
can't
I
just say that, John.
the
Like,
thing
you
is,
can't
that's
just
the
say it
rules.
because.
I know,
Like,
I know.
I know. We've all been
I
colonized.
just feel like I'd be like,
We've all been
I-
colonized, D.
I-
But
look,
I just feel like I'd be
the
like,
matter is that you
So
don't know.
every time you make me mad, I'm gonna smack you on the top of your head. Yeah,
Honestly,
I'm gonna lift my hand and smack you on the back of your head.
That's for the fact that I know.
Go ahead, I just feel like, yo, every time you make me mad, I feel like popping you on the top of your head. like, shut up with that.
That's fucked up.
Nah, but that'll be man. That'll be the same
You know that's what
thing.
you do with bald-headed people. Like you see that, you like.
But that'll be the same thing. But that'll be the same exact thing as you don't touch a black woman's hair.
True that.
You don't pull
But she
her
ain't
hair.
got no hair.
You don't touch her hair.
You don't touch her head.
You don't touch the head.
You don't touch her head.
You don't touch the head. It's the same principle.
So you would feel comfortable kissing your girl on the top of her head if she was bald?
If she was.
And you'd be like, hey, babe.
Look, I love my wife. So if she would, I'll be down.
Jay knows what I'm talking about.
That's fucked up, dude. But yeah, but what if your girl went like bald and she was like, all right, fuck this shit. Now
I mean,
I'm saving it. And would you be like,
I would
well,
I'd be like, hey, I
sorry.
still love you, but I'm bald as a mama. And I'm so sorry. Like,
you know what I'm saying? Exactly. Like right? You know, that's it.
And like, she made me mad. I'm like, man, shut your bald head ass up.
Oh man.
You know you would, dog. You know you would.
Go ahead, man.
You just poke fun at her. Like, bald head as a mama.
Hey, fucked up, man.
I'm like, look, for Valentine's Day.
Come on, man.
For Valentine's Day, I get her some flowers and a fitted cap. I'm like, hey, man.
Man, come on, man. Hey, come on.
Fitted thing.
I can't.
Yeah, I got you extra small because I know you need. Your head is small.
But no, man. Like I said, my perfect with that old bald head.
If she doing Melania, she gonna kill your ass.
Yeah, she good.
Oh, my heart.
She
Bald
gonna
headed up.
Hey, no, she gonna headbutt the mess out of you.
Headbutt the shit out of you.
Like a rhino in this joint.
That Riggs headbutt. Riggs used to have a vicious headbutt and lethal weapon, dog.
She gonna uppercut you
So-
with her head.
Before we end, do y'all want to transition to the school shooting, man? School shooting happened in Florida.
All right, let's do a whole nother intro.
I pulled up. All right. So, yep. We'll wrap us up for the Black Panther.
All right, guys.
It was a great movie.
Hope
Go
you
see
enjoy
it. My boy Ash should.
Buy the DVD and the Blu-ray.
My boy Ash is
And buy it on Amazon Prime.
You should have saw it already. What do you mean? Is it
I
worth
think
seeing?
I'm
Yes.
gonna buy 2 copies.
The women are fine, y'all.
One copy
Women,
that
be
just
natural.
never open, and then one copy.
Right,
that,
a
like,
pristine digital Blu-ray. Just keep in your shelf.
The women be
In your
natural.
china
I
cabinet.
did like that. I like how they commented on being natural. You know, that girl was
Be
like, I
natural.
feel ridiculous with this shit
Be
on.
natural.
You know,
Yeah, man.
you see that shit on everywhere. People, the black girls wearing
Be
weave
natural,
and
women.
putting chemicals in your hair.
Brainwashing by the colonizer.
Yeah.
The last thing I'm gonna say is I've just never seen representation of black people like this.
It's a game
It's
changer.
such a beauty and such
Didn't the
positive
princess
light.
throw a joke at white people in the middle of there, but people didn't really catch it? What'd she say? She threw a joke at white people.
She did say something.
She didn't say colonizers.
Oh no, it was the whole another broken white boy that we can
Yeah, we got
fix.
fixed or something.
Oh,
That
that's
shit
right.
kind of flew over everybody's head. I was like, she say that shit?
That's what Winter
Hey,
Soldier.
Wait.
I
I was like, what?
I also like the whole white
What
wolf.
we got to
I like
fix?
the white wolf thing. I'm not sure if you guys got that reference with the white wolf, but that was cool. How they kept
Wait.
calling him White Wolf.
So,
Soldier.
so this is this post where this guy from Facebook. He said, "Quote: I saw Black Panther again with my wife in Chattanooga, Tennessee. 99% of the white audience didn't seem to get one black joke. Quote: Hey, auntie, got no love.
What? Yeah.
And one even sighed, oh boy, at the use of colonizer.
Oh wow.
There was one rousing round of applause when Ross shot down the Wakandan aircraft, though.
What?
Then he was in Chattanooga, Tennessee. Like, that's where we're at, guys.
That's
So you know,
racism right
Look
there.
where we're at.
America's a large country.
Yeah.
It's
Y'all
gonna
need
take
to go to Wakanda, Ohio, though.
I know, right? Just go into Wakanda, Ohio. But
Like I said,
We are here.
Did you hear the
We are
thing?
here.
Did you hear the thing about the people in Wakanda, Ohio, saying no, we don't have vibranium
Yeah,
here,
yeah.
and no, we don't have like all
That's
this.
it.
I'm going to go to
That's
the
the
show.
point.
and be like,
That's so that you don't come there looking for that shit.
They have it.
They ain't got no vibranium, I don't know shit
They
about.
have it. I know they-
Like, what's this? What's this? I told you. You said you didn't have anything
Hey,
here.
man, that's a bottle cap,
Flying
dog.
car?
Like, no, it's a
Can
drone.
of soap.
Yeah.
it's a Pepsi can.
Alright, so I guess that's gonna wrap
Vibranium
us up
Pepsi can.
on Black Panther.
All right, guys.
Nice.
Wakanda.
Black Panther, go see it. Wakanda forever.
Wakanda! Women be natural.
Yes, sir.